Miami Dolphins are led by a pair of quarterbacks, a young one, David Woodley, a veteran, Don Strock. The thing about Woodley is he can kill you with the run as well as the pass, a double-barrel threat. But he'll probably not see action tonight because of injuries. In that case, you will see Don Strock, the polished veteran with the powerhouse arm. Give him a weak cornerback, and he'll destroy him, as he did right there in that long pass to Nat Moore. There is more to the Miami offense than that. There is the developing rookie running back from Nebraska, Andrew Franklin, and he gets better with each game. And on defense, what a brilliant performer is A.J. Dewey, number 77, the converted defensive lineman to the position of linebacker. Look at that. He seems to be everywhere the football is. But the Dolphins must play the Buffalo Bills tonight, so they'll have to cope with the Bills' defense founded upon the Bermuda Triangle. There are the three of them. And here they are in evidence. Now watch, Fred Smerlas out of Boston College, number 76. Yes, they are a great defensive team. On offense, on the ground, Joe Cribbs only gained 159 yards last week. What a task to contain him. And led, as they always are, by the underrated, steady-going quarterback, number 12, Joe Ferguson, who'll kill you with the pass, throwing to the likes of Frank Lewis, number 82, and Jerry Butler from Clemson. The Bills against the Dolphins tonight.
From Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the undefeated Miami Dolphins against the defending AFC Eastern Division champion Buffalo Bills. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Datsun, who invites you to see all the exciting new 1982 Datsun cars and trucks at your Datsun dealer today. And by Lanier Dictating Systems. We help you get those important ideas off your mind and into action. 80,000 plus expected here tonight at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. The reason, of course, the standings in the AFC Eastern Division, and there they are, the Miami Dolphins, one of two teams, along with Philadelphia, that has not lost this season. They have a game-and-a-half lead over Buffalo. And Buffalo, while it's not a critical game, you must say they would hate to fall further behind the young, resurging Miami Dolphins under head coach Don Shula. His opposition tonight, Chuck Knox, one of the finest in the game.
No question about that. The man trained by Weeb Eubank in New York, refined in Detroit, polished as the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, the miracle worker here in Buffalo, Frank.
And, of course, Don Shula, he's a legendary one already, now in his 19th year. And amazing to me, Don, that in 18 previous seasons, he's had one season, one losing season. Remarkable.
He really is amazing, Frank. When you look at his regular season record, if he wins, if the Miami Dolphins wins tonight, he ties Tom Landry for third on the list of winning coaches in regular season contests. So the thing that I really like about him is I've never met a single guy who played for him who really doesn't like him, along with respecting. You hear a lot, well, I may not like the guy, but I really do respect him. And what he's done, with this team this year, he's got a lot of guys out there that haven't played very much. He's done it many times in his career. So I think a lot of credit has to go with him. He's got a lot of help with some of his defensive coaches, too. We got a good game tonight, but a Shula-led team is going to be right in the middle of it no matter what.
You mentioned those defensive coaches. Those defensive coaches, Bill Arnsparger, designated an assistant head coach for Miami. The same designation here for Tom Catlin of the Buffalo Bills. Two finely coached teams, and we are set to go. You saw Nick Mickemeyer. He is putting the ball on the tee. Miami has won the toss. They'll receive to our left. And dropping deep is the speedster Fulton Walker, number 41, the rookie 6th-round draft pick from West Virginia. Nick Giaquinto back there, along with Mike Kozlowski. But the man Miami would like to have get the football, of course, is the speedster Fulton Walker. Again, we do not know whether we'll see much of young David Woodley at quarterback for Miami tonight. He has a hairline fracture of the rib. It's in the back, and we are told that he is capable of playing, but Don Strock was superb last week in a tie against the Jets. We're underway. Again, a capacity crowd as we watch Fulton Walker bobble the ball out of bounds, and Miami will start at their own 4-yard line. An error immediately puts Miami in a hole as they'll be working against the wind. Don Strock will lead the offense onto the field. He teamed up with Nat Moore last week, Howard, for 7 receptions and 210 yards. We'll look to see that combination again tonight.
He's a great arm. He's learned so very much under Bob Greasy. If you're looking for storyline tonight, Miami thinks they can move the ball through the air against Buffalo. Their job, they see, as containing cribs on the ground.
We're set to go. The setbacks to number 22, Tony Nathan. Andra Franklin, the rookie from Nebraska, number 37. And this Franklin, and he is stacked up by the #1 defense of a year ago in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills, and they are smoking tonight. As we look at that defensive team, and John, I'll tell you, they're young, they're excited, but Chuck Knox has got really a bunch of hard-hitting Bills up here.
One of the reasons I think that the home team has an advantage is in a situation just like this. You've got 80,000 people out here. The visiting team comes in, they kick off to a rookie, and he pitches it out of bounds on the 5-yard line. It's just that sort of psychological advantage. Big plus for Buffalo early in the game.
Second down, a little more than 9 yards to go. Quick handoff. Franklin. The Dolphins moving out up close to the 10-yard line. A little bit of breathing room now as they'll have a 3rd down. And now it'll be marked at inside the 9, so we'll call it 3rd down and 5. A passing situation ordinarily, but again, deep in Miami's territory.
Breathing room is just what they seek for punting situation. And doubtful that they will pass. Though with Shula, you never can tell now.
That's true. He's done awfully well with his backup quarterbacks, and he's got Strock in there. Strock has been one of the major backup quarterbacks for Shula's coaching career, along with Earl Morrall.
3rd down and 5. Don Strock will be calling most of his own plays tonight. And there was a delay getting the play that was called for him. And Pat Haggerty indicates delay of game. That'll be a 5-yard march off, and Don Strock will be in the shadow of the goalpost once again on 3rd down.
Major mistake. The breathing room is gone.
Delay of game. Offense. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Don Strock came off the bench a couple of weeks ago against Houston. Was sensational in that game as Miami won 16-10. He was brilliant last week in tying the Jets 28-28. In a very difficult spot at the moment. 3rd down and 10. The running play. Franklin backs back. Left side. Far short of the 1st down, and Miami will have to punt against the wind as Fred Smirlis slides out there along with Ken Johnson defensively for the Bills. And the crowd is already excited, anticipating good field position. And on comes the punter, Tom Orris.
And that's what they'll have, Giff, barring a fumble. Very good field position.
2 dangerous return men. Number 25 is Roland Hooks. And Byron Franklin, again the speedster from West Virginia. And they settle in right about midfield. As Orris, the rookie from Ohio State, is deep in his own end zone. Bob Kuchenberg takes a look. He'll snap the ball, and he'll snap it blind. Orris hangs it. Flag is down. Roland Hooks right straight up the field. Inside the 40-yard line of Miami, but a flag is down.
Going in that area where the 2 defensive players were trying to holding. Yep.
Holding against the Bills. And that is a major mistake. Was it after the possession or before? So the Bills will be set back close to midfield. Pat Haggerty marking it off. the call.
What it comes to is a difference of 20 precious yards.
Rod Cush holding.
Marked off from where the ball was first touched, received by the receiving team. About a 25-yard swing there.
Still fine field position for Buffalo. Ball inside their 42-yard line. Bill Ferguson, both these quarterbacks, Strock and Ferguson, given a lot of leeway in calling their plays and changing up. This is Joe Cribbs, a sensational rookie of the year ago, who picked up last week where he left off with 159 yards against Buffalo. And there is the offensive unit. As you can see, the veteran Lawrence McCutcheon, who gave Chuck Knox 4 years and 1,000-yard plus with the Rams when Chuck Knox was the head coach of the Rams for 5 years, beginning in '73. Cribbs got 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. The ball at the 47-yard line of Buffalo. Ferguson on the year, a little over 53%, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, rated 4th in the AFC. Cribbs again. And this time met at the line of scrimmage, and a flag goes down late. A.J. Dewey moving in there defensively, and Miami will show all kinds of sets. And again, the penalty indicated against Buffalo. Holding. And again, Buffalo will be backed up. A lot of excitement in this Buffalo team. Sellout crowd. They love them here in Buffalo. Of course, last year, 11-5 record. AFC Eastern Division champions, losing to San Diego in the playoffs. Here's the call.
Holding, number 72, offense.
Ken Jones holding for Buffalo.
Something you don't ordinarily see in a Chuck Knox team that's so well coached. 2 quick holding penalties.
Both ball clubs are high. A crowd, well, it can gut you up, and those little mistakes come early in a game like that. Particularly this Buffalo team. 2nd down and 14 now. 37-yard line of Buffalo, and Ferguson will put it in the air for the first time tonight. Fires over the middle, and it's complete.
Good catch,
Out
good
close
throw.
to midfield, and it is Jerry Butler, the sensational third-year man out of Clemson, who can beat you across the middle, and he can scare the heck out of you on the outside. He has that great speed.
Starts off. Good protection. You see the line kind of backing in, looking around. Nobody got close. Awfully nice to have Jerry Butler. Butler is this guy that has a way like a few of the guys in the league right now where he can really find that open spot and make it go when he catches the ball.
3rd down, a little less than 2 to go. The ball over the 49-yard line of Buffalo, and they have their running unit in, the 2 tight ends, and Cribbs over the right side, and Cribbs bolting for the first down. He was stacked up at the line of scrimmage, a little extra effort. He gets the first. He's close to the 46-yard line of Miami. Joe Cribbs, who had that big game last week, 159 yards against Baltimore. Teamed in there tonight with Lawrence McCutcheon, a 10-year veteran who was traded to Denver a year ago, waived to Seattle. Seattle let him go. He failed a physical with the Houston Oilers, called Chuck Knox, his old coach with the Rams, and he is making his 3rd start in relief of Curtis Brown tonight for Buffalo. Ferguson back. Cribbs does not handle the ball. A little out in front of him. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Too much out in front of him. Surprising from Ferguson. So steady going.
They didn't really fool anybody either. They had trying to set up a screen out there. They had just about as many Dolphins as they did Bills. So it was not. They didn't fool anybody when he took the snap.
Joe Cribbs, one of 2 players that came about as a result of the O.J. Simpson trade to San Francisco in '78. 2nd down and 10. Lawrence McCutcheon, single setback. Ferguson to the air. Wide open. That's the tight end, Bramer. Mark Bramer, a 2nd-year man out of Michigan State, came in here as a rookie and replaced Reuben Gant this year as the starter.
From the other side of the field, to get another look at it, once again, you see good protection. Barber just went out, found him a little hole, kept his feet, moved into the inside.
Ball inside the 28-yard line of Miami. 9:30 and the clock is moving here in the first quarter. Joe Cribbs now the single setback for Buffalo. Inside handoff. This is McCutcheon trying to find an opening. Finally maybe picks up a yard behind Will Grant and Reggie McKenzie.
McCutcheon has done surprisingly well for a fellow who is considered washed up. But at the same time, as you look at that injury on the field, we'll have a report.
That is Reggie McKenzie, by the way.
Oh, can't do without the original member of the electric company who preceded the Juice everywhere he went. We'll be back live in Buffalo in a moment.
Reggie McKenzie got to his feet, but he knew that he needed assistance. It appeared to be something concerning the left leg, perhaps the left knee, but Reggie McKenzie made his 140th consecutive start tonight. We have been told that he has a hyperextended knee.
What a nice man he is.
Yes, he is.
He's really a nice man. Very decent guy.
He's a delight.
Been an awful lot in this club in so many areas. He's been here at the good times and the bad times. We spoke with him when we were up here early in the year, and Reggie's a big part of this club.
Second down and 9. McKenzie at left guard, replaced by number 73. That's John Bochart, the third-year man out of Montana State. Lawrence McCutcheon, single setback as Frank Lewis moves in motion. Ferguson hits Buster Barnett, the rookie tight end from Jackson State. That'll be short of the first down, but inside the 20, where it'll be 3rd down and 2.
We're going to show you Reggie McKenzie. There he is. As Don said, means so much to this club. Still talks 2 or 3 times a week with O.J. Simpson. 2 of them remaining as close as if the Juice was still with the Bills. Interesting development in the tight end position. Bills let Reuben Gant, once their #1 draft choice, go. Now they've got young Mark Kramer and the youngster Barnett, whom you just saw receive the pass, and they're happy.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and a long 2. For the Bills will put it in the air. Oh. And Ron Jesse had it right in his hand.
Oh, he did.
He could have been close to the goal line. Veselu was right there with him, but that ball easily could have been caught. And now on 4th down, we'll see the field goal unit for Buffalo. That means Nick Mickemeyer, who's 5 of 9 on this young season. Holder, Matt Robinson, the backup quarterback for Buffalo.
Mickemeyer has surprising range, but Frank told you he's 5 for 9. Problem is inconsistency.
He's missed from 51, from 49, and from 20, as well as 43. This will be a 37-yard effort. On its way and through the uprights, and Buffalo has struck first on a 37 yards out with 7:55 remaining in the first quarter. So the Bills, except for a drop ball by Ron Jesse, perhaps could have had 7. We'll be back. All night for football, if you don't mind, a little bit of a chill in the air.
A little nip in the air.
Is expected to drop under a full harvest moon to 30 degrees, 35 degrees tonight here in the Buffalo area. Cloudless sky as we watch Nick Mickemeyer has just put the Bills ahead with a 37-yard effort. Deep for Miami, Fulton Walker, the rookie from West Virginia. Walker, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And a hook slide out to the 18-yard line, and once again, Miami will be deep in their own territory. Oh, did they invite you to fish fry, Don?
Somebody did call me up this afternoon, want me to have dinner with them tonight. His name was John somebody, and I said, John, how'd you get my number? He said, I just looked in the paper and figured it out. He said, there's one look, and Mr. Gifford come too.
No, but Howard went with him.
Is that where you went for dinner?
No. I was here early.
19-yard line, the Miami Dolphins. 4-0-1 on this young season. Stock. Tony Nathan. Nathan returning to the lineup tonight after missing for 3 weeks with sore ribs. Picks up 5 yards. Give him 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
You'll recollect, Frank, the last time we saw Tony was in the Dolphins route of the then doleful Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a marvelous night, but how times have changed for the Steelers.
They have really turned it around, the Steelers. Tony Nathan, by the way, if he looks like he might be a little bulky out there, is wearing a flak jacket to protect those damaged ribs. 2nd and 6, Nathan again, left side, and Nathan runs right into Jim Haslett, who hits like a small truck. He, of course, forms part of that Bermuda Triangle known as Haslett, Smirlis, and Nelson.
The Bills have advised us, and this is bad news for them, there's Haslett, that Reggie McKenzie will not be back in the game tonight. His replacement, young man, there he goes, and he's firing up the crowd as he goes. This team is alive, I'll tell you that. Borchard, the replacement, 3rd-year man from Montana State.
3rd down and 2 for Don Strock. Ball at the 27-yard line of the Dolphins. Strock will put it in the air. Nat Moore.
Good move.
At wide receiver and out of the backfield. He has the 1st down out to the 34-yard line, up into there by Lucius Sanford. 1st down, Miami.
Good example of just utilizing your personnel. He's got Nat Moore, who has the exceptional speed on his club. They don't have really a lot of great speed out there. So he swings him out of the backfield, put him one-on-one with the linebacker, and as good as Haslett is, you see, he just didn't quite have that step speed to get there. They picked up a 1st down.
Miami has had to juggle their offensive sets. Dell Williams was released early in the year. Woody Bennett had knee surgery. These were all anticipated to be starters. Their #1 draft pick, David Overstreet, went up to Montana. Terry Robisky was hurt. Eddie Hill is not expected back until next week. On 1st and 10, Strock fires to Cephalo. Had the ball for a moment. Good there by number 22, Steve Freeman.
Steve was right there, played the ball really well. If you can't get in front, the next best thing is come in from the back and knock it loose. Well thrown ball, good timing. Cephalo coming down the inside. You see Freeman well positioned, couldn't get in front, made a good hit.
The best of them will drop a football in a situation like that.
I don't see how the best of them catch it in a situation like that, as a matter of fact.
2nd down and 10, 34-yard line. Tony Nathan, single setback. Strock under pressure. And Cooley finds the tight end, Ronnie Lee. Ronnie Lee bobbles the ball. Buffalo saying that they had it.
No, he marked it down.
Marked it down.
I think he was right.
And up close to a 1st down. Good move.
We
by
must
Don
be in
Strock.
Buffalo. Was a good job by Strock, Frank.
They were breathing all over him.
Yeah, we're going to get see another look. Let's just watch. I like to watch their feet. They get those nervous feet. All right, he moved in, sat back again, found his receiver. That's nice quarterbacking.
Nicely described. Cooley, Frank said, and that's true.
Very close call there. That could have been called either way, as a matter of fact. Again, in the replays, you did not hear whether or not the whistle had blown. 3rd down, less than a yard. And Strock on 3rd and less than a yard, going for a bundle. And bobbled by Nat Moore. He just could not get the handle, and Miami will have to punt. Interesting call on 3rd and very short.
It really was. You wonder a little bit about it. It's the old Green Bay theorem when Bart Starr would short yardage on 3rd, frequently go long, sometimes be a hero by hitting Max McGee, then number 85, sometimes not.
Chicken one day, feathers the next.
Of course.
Byron Franklin,
Bear Bryant.
85. Roland Hooks is back there with him. The Bills using 2 deep men tonight. And Tom Orris on to punt for Miami. Free agent rookie out of Ohio State trying to catch the sideline, but rather than that, he got a bit of a Buffalo bounce. And now it trickles inside the 20, close to the 18-yard line, where Buffalo, with a 3-0 lead and 4:51 remaining in the 1st quarter, will take over. Buffalo Bills leading by 3, 37-yard Field goal by Mickemeyer. We'll be back. Clifford, Howard Cosell, and the snappy one, the Dandaroo, with us tonight.
Happy to
The
be
Buffalo
here.
Bills going against Miami. And kind of a crucial game this early in the season for Buffalo. They could be behind Miami by 2.5 games should they lose tonight. That's Frank Lewis in motion. Joe Cribbs, right side. And Joe Cribbs shows you the offensive rookie of the year form of a year ago. Taken there by Glenn Blackwood after a nifty pickup.
The whole Miami plan is to contain Cribbs. It remains to be seen if that can be done. I mentioned that McCutcheon hasn't done that badly. Man down. We'll have a report as quickly as possible. But McCutcheon is not the big back they dreamed of getting when they drafted Booker Moore from Penn State. Ed Taylor.
Ed Taylor, who has replaced another injured Dolphin, Don McNeil, at that left corner.
He was injured in a rather unusual way. It appeared that he just fell over the pile and fell out to the outside. May have could have possibly even tripped up on a chain. I don't know that to be true.
Meanwhile, Joe Cribbs picked up 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5. And the thing about Cribbs, he's not only a fine runner, but he's a good receiver. Very smart, heady football player. Number 20, Joe Cribbs, 52 receptions a year ago. Bolton Walker, a rookie cornerback, now on the right side for Miami as we watch Cribbs again, getting out close to the 28-yard line and close to a first down. Ernie Roan defensively there for Miami, number 55, and Bolton Walker, the rookie from West Virginia, and a 6th-round pick who is now in there at left corner, and it should not be long before Buffalo will try to exploit that left side.
I tell you, Cribbs is amazing. Smallish man, he squirms and squirrels his way. You always worry about his getting hurt because of his lack of stature, physically.
Third down and a little less than 1. The man they call on for short yardage efforts, Roosevelt Leach, gets the first down out over the 30-yard line. So it'll be first down Buffalo in their own territory. Reminder, coming up this weekend on Saturday, Wide World of Sports, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 Central, 5 Pacific, the World Welterweight Championship fight, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns. First time on free television, and NCAA college football will follow that regional game, so check your local listings to see the game that you're going to get in your area. Of course, the featured attraction, number 1 ranked Texas against Arkansas. First down and 10. Ferguson back. Going deep. And the man that's back there is Bessalou. And Butler almost took the bobble from Bessalou.
We have seen a lot of that this year, particularly by the New York Jets. They have scored 3 touchdowns on errant throws. Tipped here, tipped there, and it's all worked for them.
Well, they work on that every week.
The old tip drill. I don't know if it didn't appear to me that Ferguson even saw Bessalou back there. When he threw the ball, and he was right into a double coverage back there, they were very fortunate that Bessalou didn't pick that one off. You know, when the Bills beat Miami after 20 tries or something like that, they beat them once in the last 22 tries, Ferguson still threw 5 interceptions, but they won 17-7.
Second down and 10.
Good information there, by the way.
He's picked that out. And here comes Cribbs.
Good move.
With a move to the inside to the 35-yard line. He'll get 4. It'll be third down and 6. Doug Betters defensively there, and Miami will shuffle that defense around. They'll have Betters and Baumauer. They'll bring in Vern Den Herter. The man they like to free is A.J. Dewey, the former co-rookie of the year defensively. In 1977 with Baumauer, they moved him to linebacker, and they moved him all over the field. They'll bring him from a 4-man front, and that's where he is right now, hacking along the line, anticipating pass. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. And it was Ferguson forced to hurry the ball. The attempt to Frank Lewis. As they continue to try and go at the rookie replacement for Ed Taylor, that would be Fulton Walker. It'll be 4th down. The punting unit comes onto the field.
So far, the game is developing in the manner of the Philadelphia Philadelphia-Atlanta game that we saw a week ago. Intense, hard-hitting. McKenzie already out for the game.
Figueredo, we saw him early in the year go 87 yards on a punt return against Pittsburgh. He is presently leading the NFL. Greg Cater to punt for Buffalo. Cater, not high, good kick. Figueredo will have his opportunity from the 24. Figueredo.
Oh. Wahoo-wah, wahoo-wah.
That's out to the 34-yard line. Hit there by special teams expert Lou Picone. And that is not booing. They're saying Lou, Lou, Lou. Much as they do at Yankee Stadium for Lou Piniella. Howard will tell us about that when we return. 15 remaining in the first quarter, and Buffalo continues to lead 3-0 over the Miami Dolphins. Don Strock replacing the second-year man David Woodley was the starter, remains at quarterback for Miami. First down and 10. The Dolphins from their 34-yard line call on Tony Nathan, and Nathan erupts out to the 40-yard line for a gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4.
Well, in accordance with contemporary cliches, he got 6 yards on first down. Now, you really want to get a lot of yardage on first down. And the way you hear it, some teams don't try. I've never known a team that didn't try to get as many yards as they could on first down.
Second down and 4. The ball near the 40-yard line. Matt Moore in motion, but Woodley quickly goes to Duriel Harris. Screen man cannot get in front of Harris, but he gets the first down out to the 45-yard line. Miami now with their deepest penetration thus far.
First down.
That's the Miami owner, Joe Robbie. He's been through a very difficult time. His wife underwent surgery some 3 weeks ago up in Canada, and only recently, very recently, has she come out of intensive care. And Joe, we wish Liz the very best, and I'm glad she's recovering.
Quick toss. The flag is down as Nathan tries the left side, gets 2, perhaps 3, but again, a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Appeared to be a quick movement by that Buffalo defense. And who knows?
Quick movement. Another part of the Miami offense. You were in the area.
I did see quick movement.
That's our crew tonight. Pat Haggerty, of course, directing the operation, and one of the finest of the many fine NFL officials who every Sunday and every Monday put their life in the hands of the crowd.
Illegal motion. Number 86, offense.
Tight end, Ronnie Lee. Interesting note, the Miami Dolphins have given up over 1,000 yards in the last 2 games. And yet, they have avoided a defeat.
Somebody changed the rules, I think, recently.
First down and 15. The Strock is back. And under pressure. Picked off. Picked off. And on the return is Isaiah Robertson, and he has done this so often. He, like Lawrence McCutcheon, performed under Chuck Knox with the Los Angeles Rams. And here is a man who doesn't always play where he should be, but he comes up with a lot of interceptions. That's his 23rd career interception.
We're going to see some good pressure on the quarterback coming out of that Bermuda Triangle. Hands up right in front, and that's what you're supposed to do. Pass was just not thrown well. Isaiah happened to be in the right place. But I'm almost
balanced. That's the thing about Isaiah. He always had the ability, once he got the football, to run like a halfback.
Buffalo got Isaiah Robertson, who, as I said before, didn't really conform to the Rams' defensive plans. They got him for a 4th-round draft pick in '79. He fits well here under Chuck Knox. Ferguson.
Throw, good throw.
Butler, 6 points, Buffalo. The quick turnover and the quick shot for the TD pays off for Buffalo.
He got Fulton Walker over there on it. We were talking about earlier.
Well, they're going to stay over there on Fulton Walker. They have thrown 4 times since Walker came into the game. They've all been against Walker.
A quick little fake into Cribbs in the middle, a raise up. Not anybody else coming out of the backfield. Jerry Butler one-on-one with Walker. Butler's going to win most of these for a while. I don't blame Walker, really, for giving him some room. Butler's got the speed we talked about earlier, but he gave him a little too much that time.
Again, remember, Ed Taylor went out with an injury at left corner, and already missing was Don McNeil as we watch Mickemeyer extend the Buffalo Bill lead with 1:14 remaining in the first quarter. Crowd loves it. A happy group. They love their Bills, and their Bills lead the Dolphins 10-0. We'll be back. Cloning you, Howard.
The man is everywhere, isn't he?
They've flown to me.
28-yard touchdown shot on the first play following the interception by Isaiah Robertson. It was Ferguson to Butler. Bolton Walker, the man who was beaten on the touchdown. Perhaps he should have had more inside help. We don't know because we don't know the defense. Mickemeyer. Walker. And Walker with a good effort. Out over the 25, close to the 27-yard line. Miami deep in their own territory again.
The interesting gift to see the reaction of this Miami team. There's Jerry Butler. This is the first time this year they've been behind by a touchdown or more. 10 points trailing. Let's see what their comeback capacity is. This is a different Buffalo team from the one that fell before Philadelphia and then lost to Cincinnati, because Shane Nelson and Butler are healthy. Butler's already proved the point. Frank?
First and 10 Miami inside their own 27. Andre Franklin. Franklin powering up close to the 34-yard line. Hit there by Shane Nelson, but the rookie from Nebraska gets 7 quick yards. Andre Franklin, second-round draft pick. Really played in the shadow of great tailbacks out of Nebraska like Rick Burns, I.M. Hip, Jarvis Redwine. Don Shula got him in the second round. Probably would not be in there if Woody Bennett were healthy, or perhaps David Overstreet had arrived as the #1 draft pick. Second and 3, Franklin, first down, out close to the 40-yard line with 20 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
As we said in the opening of the telecast, that kid gets better with every game. He's a reminder of William Andrews.
Don't you imagine he had to be pretty tough growing up with a name called Andra? I mean, you know, he has to get tough. You want that guy on your side.
Couldn't be easy.
Yeah.
And time has expired here in the first quarter. There'll be an ovation by 80,000-plus fans here at Rich Stadium. The Bills have a 10-0 lead, and we'll be returning in a moment. Don Strock has been, at times, brilliant, many times brilliant in relief of Bob Greasy in the past, and, of course, more recently, in relief of David Woodley. 3 times he started against Buffalo. You have seen the results. But right now, Don Strock is down by 10. First and 10. Miami. Good field position. Their own 38-yard line as we begin the second quarter. The old flea flicker, and the flea flicker is in trouble. And they may be in more trouble.
They sure may be. That was humble.
That's Tommy Vigorito playing sandlot football over there.
Wahoo Wah from Virginia.
Is that a lateral or an incomplete pass?
I don't believe the whole play. It was Bush League.
Well, no, wait a minute.
On a Shula team, you don't expect to see that.
Wait a minute. What is he doing?
Buffalo is not going to like this. Coming back to the line of scrimmage, it obviously will be an incomplete forward pass.
Backward pass.
Backward pass and a forward pass ruled incomplete. Buffalo fans do not like it. And Shane Nelson really doesn't like it. Nor does Chuck Knox. Well, Chuck Knox really does not get that all exercise on the sidelines. It'll be second down and 10. Well, the 80,000-plus venting their emotions. This will change nothing. Tony Nathan behind Bob Kuchenberg.
Good play.
And Nathan out to the 45-yard line. Quick pickup. of 6 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And let's take a look at the action from the first quarter.
There are the stats. Buffalo with a mild first down edge. Yards rushing about equal. The differential in passing and in total yards. The turnovers, that was a key. Isaiah Robinson's intercept that led to the pass to Jerry Butler from Joe Ferguson for the lone touchdown in the first quarter.
Don Sprock faced with a passing situation. 3rd down and 4. Tony Nathan, single setback. Comes the pressure, and Sprock.
All right.
Sherman White was there first. And the sack is back to the 35-yard line. Miami will have to punt. Buffalo with all the momentum thus far.
We got good pressure in the middle, holding up as Ken Johnson is holding him up. And here comes Big Sherman White, 83. He got some help from the other side. They got back there about the same time Sprock did. That's the time Strock wishes he had been back in his shotgun.
Horace in. You're looking at Roland Hooks 25 and number 85, Byron Franklin. Long count. Horace gets it to turn over. It'll be deep, but also it will give Franklin time to look over the field. And he sees a lot of Miami Dolphins at the 20-yard line, headed by Mike Kozlowski. So the Bills will have the football at their own 20-yard line. They lead 10-0. We're in the second quarter with 13-12 remaining in the first half. We'll be back. Don Shula, who is a head coach, has been pacing the sidelines now in his 19th year. What a remarkable record the man has put together. Buffalo up to the line of scrimmage at their own 20. 1st down and 10. Joe Cribbs, single setback. And it's Cribbs at the line of scrimmage. That's all as the right side closes down. Headed there by Bob Baumauer, sliding out from his nose tackle position. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Sunday night special for NFL ABC's Monday Night Football would be the Rams against the Cowboys. We'll be down at Irving for that one. Los Angeles Rams, of course, playing catch-up now with the San Francisco 49ers.
And Pat Hayden, at first thought to be seriously injured, may actually see some action this Sunday. In the highlights today, you'll see Jeff Rutledge replacing Pat, lead the Rams to a great victory.
2nd and 10. A.J. Dewey was all alone, but he gets it off to Cribbs, and Cribbs is dumped by Fulton Walker, the rookie from West Virginia, who stays in the lineup for Miami. And the loss is all the way back to the 13-yard line. Miami having troubles on offense tonight.
Sure does help if you're going to throw that little quick screen out there, if you can at least look him off. That time Joe came back and looked at Cribbs coming out of the backfield from the very beginning, and that leads that defensive pursuit right over there. A.J. Dewey was in there pretty fast, which Frank mentioned. That might have had something to do with it.
Third and long. Out of the shotgun for Ferguson. And open, and Ferguson on target to Ron Jesse, who is really leveled out at the 35-yard line.
What a wonderful
Blackwood took Ron Jesse. The helmet came off the 11-year veteran, and he's up and all right. First down, Buffalo.
Love that catch. Ron Jesse is one of two, what they call here, WCVs. They're wily, crafty veterans. We saw him miss one a while ago. This time, he had every reason in the world to drop that one. He went up, the ball came through. It looked like it. Goodness alive. That was hitting that ball in it. That was tough. That was Lyle Blackwood that came in and made a nice hit on Jesse.
One of 4 former Rams that played with Chuck Knox when he was the head coach for 5 years in Los Angeles. Ron Jesse gets the first down for Buffalo. Left side is Lawrence McCutcheon for a gain of 2, perhaps 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
I like
to the 38.
I like that WCV.
WCV, wily, crafty veteran. And you saw another one coming there. That's McCutcheon, the clutch. I think it has something. You know, a coach, you see this quite often. If he changes teams, he'll go back and pick up a few players that have played for him. Oftentimes, even in college, as Dick Vermeil has done at Philadelphia. Go back and know the players and know what they can do and how to coach them. Game of coaching, I think.
10:27 remaining in the first half. Buffalo on top, 10-0. 2nd down and 7. Flooding backs to the left. Ferguson has the time, and that could have been picked off, and a flag is down. It's down. It was intended for Cribbs. A.J. Dewey was right there with him.
Well, I couldn't tell whether it was for Butler or who it was. He threw it kind of in the middle.
Miami holding. Ferguson. A WCV in his own right, I guess. Now in his 9th year.
He takes that here.
Holding, number 59, defense, first down.
Bob Brzezinski. Holding for Miami. The first down just inside the 43-yard line of Buffalo. Ken Bocamper, number 58, and Vern Den Herder, the 11-year veteran for Miami, are coming in and out of the ball game, alternating, depending upon situation for Miami. Bocamper, of course, the better pass rusher. Joe Cribbs, or rather Lawrence McCutcheon. And McCutcheon over the 45 to the 46-yard line, hit by Brzezinski. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Now this Bills team begins to look like the Bills team of a year ago. Throwing the football, making the big plays.
And their defense, Howard, has looked like it did a year ago when it was the best in the NFL. 2nd down, long 7. Cribbs. And Cribbs just explodes for another Buffalo first down down there at the 45-yard line of Miami.
Making through as always, finding the hole. The body somehow not there when the tackle is sought to be made.
And we said earlier, Cribbs is part of the O.J. trade. As we look once again.
Relatively long strides. He comes just stepping over one, kept his balance pretty well, fell through, picked up the first down. Good hole there on the right side that time.
Buffalo got a 1st-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 3rd and a 4th for O.J. Simpson in '78. On 1st and 10. Good pass protection, and Ferguson right on the target to the big tight end, Bramer, who has another Buffalo first down.
Interesting pass pattern that time. He had his offensive line set for a moment, and he had his alternate receiver was going to be a screen pass over to the left. And with those secondary people and the linebackers, let's see if we can see it again. All right. May not be able to see it, but you'll see Dobler, number 69, set up and move out to his left. At least holds those linebackers and opens up that middle slot. And that time, Bramer was wide open in there. You saw A.J. Dewey just come into the picture late. Good pass pattern.
Bramer had the first down, stepped back to the ball, so it'll be 2nd down and a half. McCutcheon, big opening, and McCutcheon easily picks up the first down, down close to the 32-yard line, and the crowd is loving this. And when you can get 3, 4, 5 yards on the rush, it makes the passing game oh so much easier. Linebackers have to stay in much tighter regarding the run.
You know, it's really funny, though, Frank, but now it's almost more apropos to say you get that passing game working for you and you're going to open up the run. Seems everybody leads with that pass.
This drive, 8 plays, 4 first downs. Cribbs, student body left, and Cribbs to the 30-yard line. Larry Gordon, good defensive play by Gordon on the right side. He had a host of Bills out in front of him, did Joe Cribbs. Gain of a couple. 2nd down and 8.
Using the clock on this drive, everything Chuck Knox would want from his football team.
This is the kind of action you get just before Ferguson will pop one into the end zone or hit Butler coming across, working against the rookie defensive cornerback, Colton Walker. Second and 8, play action. There it is. Frank Lewis, the 2-yard line. And again, working over against Walker.
Lewis has been simply remarkable. He doesn't seem to grow older. Remember, he was acquired from Pittsburgh. in a trade. And when Butler got hurt against Philadelphia, Lewis became more important than ever. He's lived up to everything asked of him. Look at that.
Not a really easy pass to catch. It was a little bit behind him. Again, 11-year veteran along with Ron Jesse, 34-year-old.
Hey, he has 7 years at Pittsburgh, and he never did have the production that he's had already here at Buffalo. They picked him up in '78. And he has caught over 160 balls since coming here.
Eddie Robinson, the coach at Grambling, from which Lewis matriculated, told me that Lewis was the best athlete he's ever had.
Keep your eye on 48. That's Roosevelt Leaks. He's in there on short yardage. Leaks this time turned back. It'll be 2nd and goal. Jeff Knox on his 4th year at Buffalo, following 5 years as head coach of the Rams. His counterpart, of course, Don Shula. Interestingly enough, we were talking before the game, both worked under a man named Reed Eubank. Shula at Baltimore and Knox with the Jets when Reed Eubank was with the Jets.
I think Reed Eubank had something to do with Knox putting in the shotgun up here in Buffalo.
McCutcheon 30, Leaks 48. Leaks this time hammers his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo. And did they do it with style? Oh. Right side, left side, short pass over the middle of the tight end, and then Frank Lewis to the 2-yard line. And then give it to Leaks twice.
Just a controlled, dominating offense, eating up the clock.
Well, they're just trying to get in there and fill it. They just got that. Brzezinski 59. Ernest Roll 55. That's 2 of their best. You see A.J. Dewitt coming in there late. Hard to stop him. He didn't have that far to go.
Mickemeyer for the conversion. Robinson places it down, and the Bills begin to move out on top even further. 17-0. The crowd loves it. Buffalo has only beaten Miami 1 time in 22 efforts. So you can understand their excitement.
Look at that. 8 minutes and 11 seconds. 12 plays, 80 yards. Reminiscent of those old great Green Bay teams that totally control the game, controlling the clock. It was a beautiful drive Buffalo executed, and Miami's in jeopardy of being blown out.
And Fulton Walker has been the victim of much of the passing of Ferguson. And here is Walker from his 10-yard line. Walker stays on his feet. Walker may go all the way. There are no flags. And Fulton Walker, who has been the victim of much of Ferguson's efforts, has taken it all the way back 90 yards for a touchdown.
Well, that ends the thought of a blowout, fortunately from our point of view, and at the same time.
A 6th-round draft pick from West Virginia, who had to come in a left cornerback early in the game. And watch this run. It's just beautiful.
He really does make his nice moves in here. You just felt a blowout coming. You just didn't know who went into the field. That's all it was. Good
Look at him cut back there. Beautiful.
And now it was over because he has tremendous speed. So just like that, Miami is back in the ball game with 4:42. Uwe von Schaumann. They were told before the game he can hardly see tonight. He has pink eye in both eyes.
Might be better off. Look,
Pink eye.
So what a turnaround. And there he is. You have to feel awfully good for the youngster because he was really put on a spot tonight when he had to come in replacing an injured Ed Taylor, and the Bills have been picking on him all night. Fulton Walker, the rookie from West Virginia, has returned 4 kicks tonight for 142 yards. He has just gone 90 yards for a touchdown to put Miami at least back in the ballpark. Von Schaumann hits it. Byron Franklin, another speedy rookie from Auburn. And Franklin sprawling out over the 30-yard line, where Buffalo will have possession. And unhappy. He thought he saw a gap.
I think he might have tripped over his own man. He did have a pretty good hole there that time.
So Buffalo using 8 minutes to get their touchdown. Watched as Bolden Walker used about 12 seconds.
That's the second kick return we've seen by Miami this year for a touchdown. Vigorito executed one against the Steelers in a Thursday night game earlier in the season.
1st and 10 Buffalo inside their own 31-yard line. Joe Cribbs pulling forward to the 35-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. A.J. Dewey defensively there with friends for Miami.
Old Adam Joseph is going to be pretty close to that ball. I'll tell you that. He had such a good game against Pittsburgh when we had him earlier in the year. He was everywhere. A unique talent to be able to play linebacker at the same time slide right down that defensive line and not miss a beat. He can play it all. Adam Joseph Dewey.
2nd down and 6. Ferguson. Cribbs is open.
Cribbs is gone.
Foot race. Cribbs is going to win it.
He's gone.
If you like your exciting offense, you're getting it tonight. Cribbs outrunning Ernie Roan for a quick Buffalo touchdown.
Well, Ferguson loved that one, too. He'd run down almost to the 20.
65-yard touchdown pass. And Joe Cribbs, who came as a 2nd-round draft pick a year ago with a lot of football savvy. We knew he could run, but he came into this league just being able to understand how to run a pass pattern.
Dropped that ball in there. Look at Cribbs. Look to the outside, and there he's gone. Made one little miss. Bessalou made a move to the inside. They're not going to catch it.
It's fun to watch him.
Buffalo strikes back quickly. Mickemeyer for the conversion. It's good.
When have you seen a Shula team give up 24 points in the first half? I don't blame you, Joe.
24-7. Buffalo back on top once again by 17. 3:42 remaining in the first half.
Where are my memos?
Well, what do we have now? Fulton Walker is back at the 5-yard line. He's still breathing deeply from his last exercise of 90 yards.
Got time for another blowout, I think.
Maybe on the way.
That's right.
I'll
Good
tell you,
bit.
it wasn't just finding a crack and turning it on. It was a great effort by Walker. And Mickemeyer puts it in the air. And Walker from the 10-yard line. And out to the 34-yard line goes Fulton Walker. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Miami Dolphins.
It appears that Tim Falker may be down with some kind of injury out there.
An injured Buffalo Bill. Number 65, it is Tim Vogler.
Number 65.
Your man out of Ohio State. And quite a special teams performer for the Buffalo Bills. He is being treated. A lot of activities in Buffalo. And festivities. They're really into their football. We were up here a couple of weeks ago, and they had about 2,000 people for a Chamber of Commerce rally.
Well, interesting, isn't it?
I don't have curly hair.
Excellent likeness, Frank.
I don't like the tie. Tim Boker being treated on the field by the medical staff of the Buffalo Bills. There's Joe Ferguson on the phone to the coaches upstairs in the press box. Highlights coming away at halftime from excitement yesterday.
And yesterday, incredibly, Oakland shut out for the 3rd time in a row. Let's look at some of that. We pick up in the 2nd quarter. At that point in the game, Kansas City leading 3-0. Kansas City's ball. Number 9, Bill Kinney passing to Joe Delaney. Now watch this kid from Southwest Louisiana go. He can scoot in the manner of Joe Cribbs. And this time, he goes for 61 yards to the Raiders' 4-yard line. Now, that set up a play for number 43, Billy Jackson. Watch that. Apparently hamstrung there. He bursts left, goes in for the score. Final score, 27-0, Kansas City.
And the Chiefs are back, and happy to report that Vogler is leaving the field under his own locomotion. He appears to be all right. And Miami has the football once again, down by 17. Ball at their own 34-yard line. Don Strock remains in relief of David Woodley. Cephalo, number 81, moves to the wing on the right side. Strock up on top. Picked off, intended for Nat Moore. And the big man, Shane Nelson, part of that Bermuda Triangle, was right in front of Nat Moore, and Buffalo is threatening once again. 3:24 remaining in the first half.
Oh, they are a new team. Take an end zone look, Dander.
Just really good deep drops by those linebackers. Strock's trying to drop it over the linebacker, didn't get it up enough. You saw Nelson right in front.
And
good defensive play.
Did he play Strock's eyes? Strock was looking all the way for Nat Moore.
Trying to get Nat in there in that zone between the linebackers and that safety and the secondary, and he just couldn't do it. Nelson had a good, quick drop.
Difficult night for Strock, but you'll not likely see David Woodley.
39-yard line of the Dolphins. McCutcheon powering behind the blocks of Dobler and Devlin on the right side, up close to the 36-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Ernie Roan defensively, and there is David Woodley,
number 16.
Hairline fracture of the rib.
Kind of an unusual situation when Woodley is hurt. The third-team quarterback's a young fellow named Jim Jensen. And I don't think I've heard of this. They have him suited up. He's number 11, and he's on the kickoff return team. That's not quarterback position. I don't know what they're doing.
You got to be tough to play for Shula.
Yes, that's right.
Butler in motion. 2nd and 7. Wide open is Lewis. It's a sneaky little pattern, and Lewis will have a first down at the 25-yard line. Taken there by Glenn Blackwood.
There's Shane Nelson, who made the interception. Totally well again. What a difference he makes. Part of the Bermuda Triangle. There's Frank Lewis.
Hey, Smerlis and Nelson, they really are the heart of this defense. That was number 1 in the league a year ago. And once Lewis, he kind of sneaks along there, Don.
Well, that's that WCV stuff we're talking about. You don't have to run that hard. You just get open out there. He was working again over on the inexperienced side of that Dolphin defense.
And the 2-minute warning. And the crowd will rise as one. And we'll be returning to Rick Stadium with more action after this message from the National Football League. Stay with us. Service announcement brought to you by the National Football League and Bob Lilly, one of the best who ever played this game.
Old teammate from Throckmorton, Texas. He's got another. Bob Lilly Jr. is over at TCU.
You can saw with it. You can hammer with it.
Yeah, give me a break. Give me a break.
First down and 10, Buffalo. They're on top 24-7. They're threatening once again. The ball at the Miami Dolphins 26-yard line. Ferguson once more. Into the end zone, and an easy 6 to the speedy Jerry Butler. Oh, and was he open?
He got Gerald Small over there that time. My goodness.
He gave Gerald Small a cold. He just breezed by him.
I have not seen this done to a Don Shula team within my memory, or a Bill Arnsparger defense.
Yeah.
This man really has the speed, and he is in a full stride here.
When you're all alone and blue, no one to tell your troubles to. I'm telling you, he had him that time, didn't he? By himself.
Mickemeyer really being exercised here in the first half. They're having fun in Buffalo. 31-7. And Ferguson is having the kind of night every quarterback loves. He can move it on the ground. He can move it in the air.
Yes, he's having fun.
Perhaps is what was expected of Buffalo coming into this year. They've been slow getting started.
Look at these people. You know what their motto is. We talked about it. There's Jerry Butler, Clemson Tigers. We're talking proud. And they sure are now. And why not?
That's their motto up here. And the community itself, much maligned over the years. You've heard all your share of Buffalo jokes. They're kind of proud of this area, and they sort of identified with this team, which has given them kind of a focal point of community and civic pride. And they've got themselves a dandy.
Awful lot of work going on in this general area, too. You go downtown, they're building new subways and freeways coming in and out of the town. Fulton, it's up to you again now, fella. Your turn.
Meckemeyer hangs it high for Fulton Walker from his 11. And Walker with another fine return out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. 1:49 remaining in the first half. And you would suspect that Don Chula will chew the fat with his coaches in the locker room, try and pull their act together. But this is an explosive Buffalo Bill team tonight.
That's the way they started the season, you remember. Crushing the Jets 31-0. Trouncing Baltimore 38-3.
Don Strock looks over the 1st and 10 at his own 32-yard line. Undonned right back to the air, and it's Nat Moore. And Nat Moore is swarmed over, heading the charge, Shane Nelson, number 59. That's a gain of about 7 yards, and a hurry-up offense now by Miami. 2nd down and 3. Strock directing traffic out there with his 2 young backs. Complete. Moore has the 1st down. They'll mark it up close to the 45-yard line. And now Don Strock will call timeout.
There's Conrad Dobler, the much talked about veteran, controversial as to his methods of play. But I'll tell you, he says what he thinks. He felt he was speaking for all of Buffalo when last week he denounced the Jets and their coach Walt Michaels for the way Michaels played the final minute of overtime against Miami. At the time, the Jets run the Miami 30, a minute or less remaining, and they elected to run 2 plays into the line and have Pat Leahy have to try a 48-yard field goal, eschewing the pass. The field goal against the win. The Jets missed it. Now, the point that Buffalo makes is, look, we win tonight. We could be 4-2. If the Jets had won as they should have, and we beat Miami tonight, they would be 4-2.
Did Conrad say all of that?
He did.
Did he really?
Carried fully in the papers. And in fairness, I talked with Shula and Bob Greasy today, who's now on the coaching staff, and they still can't believe the way the Jets played that final minute.
You could have a word with Michaels.
Just telling it like it is. It's not necessary.
Miami, 1st down 10. In a whole pack of trouble. 31-7 they trail. 1:05 remaining in the first half. Miami at their own 44-yard line. And good defensive play. Mario Clark, the intended receiver, Juriel Harris, the ball just hung up there for too much time.
Clark is a terrific ball player. He's developed beautifully. Had been a 1st-round draft choice out of Oregon. Incidentally, to show the coaching job Chuck Knox has done, look at what's happened as you look to play against his 1st-round draft choices, Frank. He's gotten virtually nothing out of it. Cousineau going to Canada.
Booker Moore, their fine #1 draft pick, got a nervous disorder. The #1 pick this year, the running back from Penn State. You're exactly right. On 2nd down and 10, Strock slides out of trouble. The ball deflected, knocked away. It was Fred Smerlis defensively there with the big paw to deflect that ball.
Terry Miller gone.
And Really, Jim Richer, who they drafted last year as a #1 draft pick, is nothing more than a backup guard at this point.
And yet, he's rebuilt this team the first 2 years, the rebuilding process, the third year last year. They almost went to the Super Bowl.
With an 11-5 record.
Right, if Ferguson hadn't been hurt, they might have beaten San Diego in the playoffs.
55 seconds remaining in the half. 3rd and 10. Flag is down. Strock. Cephalo, the intended receiver, well covered. Charles Romes was back there defensively, and he got help from Rod Cush. But a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. .47 seconds remaining now in the first half. Will be marked off against Buffalo.
Offside, number 76, defense. 3rd down.
Red Smurless a little eager there for Buffalo.
Well, offense has been a kick return.
Bolton Walker, who went 90 yards for a Miami touchdown. Buffalo explosive here in the first half.
They're a good defensive team, Buffalo.
3rd and 5. Cephalo.
Oh.
Cephalo has the first down at the 38-yard line. Stays inbounds. Good defensive play by cornerback Charles Romes to keep Cephalo from stepping out of bounds and stopping the clock. 2-minute offense now for Miami. Continues. Another Bill. Steps offside. This will be a free play for Miami. Incomplete. Tommy Vigorito, the intended Dolphin receiver. I might add, the leading receiver for the Dolphins coming into tonight. Bill's offside. Old Ferguson, who has a hot hand and a hot team to work with tonight.
Offside, number 76, defense. 1st down.
Smurless once again. You think he's not eager tonight? 1st down at 5. 33-yard line of the Bills. Cephalo, Nat Moore split to the right. Juriel Harris to the left. Strock. Fires it out to Jimmy Cephalo. And Cephalo stops the clock, gets another Dolphin 1st down inside the 22-yard line. 17 seconds remaining in the half.
He's kind of nifty, that kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Out of Penn State.
Like a ballet dancer, really so graceful with his moves. Doesn't have blinding speed.
It's really true. He's not anything really that jerky. He's only been in the league 4 years, but he does run very smooth patterns, got terrific hands. Good concentration that time. Held on the ball. Stopped the clock.
17 seconds. The decision time for Don Shula very shortly. As to whether to go up on top of the 6 or settle for a 3. And almost picked off. Intended for Juriel Harris and Rod Cush. Almost got it. 11 seconds now in the half, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, I think they're going to have to settle for 3 just to get some renewed confidence and some points on the board. What do you think, Don?
I would think that, yeah, they'll try one more shot in there.
Point of first half for Joe Ferguson.
Miami now has given up 10 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. We already told you they've given up over 1,000 yards defensively in the prior 2 games. Strock sprints to the sideline, sees that little piece of tape there, steps out of bounds before he gets to it because, well, it's not even a factor. We now only have 3 seconds remaining in the first half, so the first down is not really a factor.
They've got to try for the 3.
I don't see anybody coming in there, but it looks like me you're going to get some points here.
Well, we're down 31-7, and Don Strock decides he wants to talk it over with Don Shula.
You're 24 points down. You got to make up that field goal sometime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get some.
I think he's a little bit of a quandary himself, Don Shula, at this point. You're down 31-7. You got 3 seconds. You know this is the final play unless there should be a defensive foul.
Looking around, see if anyone has a coin. Let's just flip. Heads be kicked. Now they're trying to find something they can score a touchdown with.
Looking over the chart, anticipating what Buffalo might be setting up in defense. The Rams and the Cowboys on a special night. That'll be 7 o'clock, by the way, down in the Dallas area from Irving, Texas. The following night we'll be up in Detroit. We'll watch 2 of the finest running backs ever to play this game. Billy Sims for Detroit, and of course Walter Payton with the Chicago Bears. So it's Sunday and Monday coming your way.
That's going to be a good one there is Sunday. The Rams had a terrific ball game against Atlanta, and the Cowboys didn't particularly enjoy. They left more than their heart in San Francisco. They got to get it back together.
There will be no field goal attempt.
I'm amazed.
The decision, you're 21 points down. You need more than the 3 points. That's the decision of Don Shula. Tony Nathan, single setback, and a good receiver in the backfield for Miami. The crowd is on its feet. Picked off. Rod Cush. This time he does not drop it.
He may go.
And
no way.
Ball is fouled. Time has expired here at Rich Stadium. And the Buffalo Bills will go into the locker room with a devastating first half over the Miami Dolphins. They lead 31-7. Chuck Knox has to be delighted. Stick around. Halftime highlights coming your way.
We're back live, Rich Stadium, Buffalo. The halftime score, incredibly. Buffalo 31, Miami 7. Subjective opinion, I still can't understand why Don Shula didn't take the 3, make it 31-10, maybe restore some self-confidence and some momentum. But that's the way it is. Tonight's halftime highlights are being brought to you by Caro's Sun Portable Heaters. Because you don't have money to burn. Caro's Sun Portable Heaters.
In Raleigh, North Dakota.
Some terrific games yesterday, beginning with Cleveland against the Pittsburgh Steelers. First half action, first quarter early. Short pass. Bradshaw to Stallworth. John driving in for the touchdown. 7-0 Pittsburgh. John shaken up on the play, but back in action later. And then it moved to 10-0 Pittsburgh in the second quarter. 2 minutes left in the half. Sipe responding to crisis the way he almost always does. Touchdown pass to tight end Ozzie Newsome, 10-7 Pittsburgh. It remained that way until the fourth quarter. And then Terry Bradshaw, 2nd and 6 on the Steelers' 49, throwing long to the always electrifying Lynn Swan, number 88. Pass good for 44 yards, set up another Trout field goal, 13-7 Pittsburgh. Waning time in the game. Paul McDonald in for the injured Sipe. Had driven his team from his own 5 to the Pittsburgh 13, and then that, the deflected pass, picked off by J.T. Thomas, Pittsburgh's 4th straight victory, and that was it. What a game at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. The Vikes against the Chargers. The Vikes led by the remarkable passing of Tommy Kramer. But in the early going, first quarter, Kramer seeking to pass. The ball tipped and then taken in by big hands Gary Johnson, 79. Watch him cut left as if he were running back. And then seeking to follow interference. Finally, brute strength, pulling his way down to the 2, setting up a Chuck Muncie touchdown, 7-0 Chargers. It became 7-7. And then in the second quarter, it was Tommy Kramer to Ted Brown. Bango. 14-7 Vikes. But in the very next series, the Chargers struck back. Dan Fouts, who's got the arm to get big yardage in a hurry, did it right here. Down to Dwight Scales. Watch him scramble in for the touchdown. 14-14, which it was at halftime. Third quarter, it was 17-14 Chargers. Vikes ball. 1st and 10. Chargers 26. That pass to Terry LeCount in for the score. 21-17 Vikes. It became 24-24, end of the fourth quarter, 31-24 Chargers. 1:58 left in the game. Kramer to Terry LeCount again. Touchdown. What a day for LeCount. 6 receptions, 120 yards. And then, watch this, because Minnesota had missed the extra point. Onside kick, obvious strategy. The ball hit forward by Holloway to Terry LeCount, everywhere the football was. And that set up, with seconds remaining, a winning field goal by Minnesota, Rick Danmeyer. And it was 33-31 Vikes, their 4th straight. They're unbeaten with Kramer at quarterback. Similar game at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, the Rams against the Falcons. This was the Falcons' first possession. John James punting. Watch now for number 47, Leroy Irvin. Oh, is he establishing himself as one of the great kick returners in the game. You saw him swing to the right sideline, go through that would-be tackler as if he weren't there. 75 yards, touchdown, 7-0 Rams. It became 13-0 Rams, end of the first quarter, the second quarter. Falcons ball. They're ready to strike back. William Andrews, left sweep, touchdown, 25 yards. Look at the day William had, but that's not new for him. 13-7 Rams. It became 14-13 Falcons, and then Bartkowski throwing long. Look for number 84, little Alfred Jenkins, touchdown, 21-13 Atlanta. It was 21-20 at halftime. Third quarter. Rams' first possession in the second half. 1st and 10, Atlanta 36. Jeff Rutledge to 87, Drew Hill, 27-21 Rams. Then Atlanta moved ahead 35-27. Falcons ball. 4th and 4, the Falcons 32. James punting again. Remember, 4th quarter action. Now Leroy Irvin. This kid has become remarkable. Look at the quickness of that acceleration through those 2 holes in a third one. And now he's ready for open daylight. He's on his way to doing it again. His 3rd touchdown punt return this season. This one 84 yards. So Atlanta led 35-34. There's Leroy, 204 yards on his returns, 2 for touchdowns. And then, late in the game, Frank Corral, field goal, a miracle victory for the Rams, 37-35, their 4th straight. And you'll see them in soon, this Sunday, an NFL Sunday night special. The Rams at 4-2 against the Cowboys at 4-2. Be with us.
Share the unforgettable moments of victory. The World Series starts October 20th on the leader in sports television, ABC Sports.
The outstanding running back of the day had to be the great one, number 34, Earl Campbell. Houston Oilers, 186 yards as Houston routed Seattle 35-17. He showed he had his stuff early. This run for 27 yards, his longest gain of the day, running left. Now watch, one-on-one, try to tackle him, forget it. Bring in another, it's possible. Gang tackling the best way to do it. Another typical Campbell burst, right through those 2 tacklers. Belt away from a 3rd. Finally, get the help you need. This time, 3 men, they'll bring you down. 39 carries for the day, a club record. His last carry of the game. Watch this, right through tacklers, 4 yards. Touchdown, 35-17 Houston, and 186 yards for Earl Campbell. The outstanding receiver, a young man who has burst into NFL prominence, Steve Watson of Denver. There were his stats on the day. And he was a compelling figure in Denver's 27-21 victory over Detroit. At this point, the Lions were leading 14-10. Craig Morton hitting Steve Watson, 18-yard gain. All that did was set Craig up for the play he wanted. Watch. Will again go to number 81. right between two defenders. Watson takes it, touchdown, 40-yard play. Final score again, 27-21, and Steve Watson.
Now, see it for yourself. Sugar Ray Leonard's sweetest victory. His dramatic world welterweight battle against Thomas Hearns Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Rich Stadium is abuzz. We're at halftime. The score is 31-7. The Bills over Miami. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Datsun, who invites you to see all the exciting new 1982 Datsun cars and trucks at your Datsun dealer today. And by Lowenbrau, when you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. And we'll be back with the second half kickoff. But right now, this message from our local stations. And we have been watching premier football on the part of the Buffalo Bills. And we have been watching premier football on the part of the Buffalo Bills. Everything in their game plan working well tonight. The defense has been superb. The offense can run. They can put the ball in the air for the completion. Those are the stats. The key item perhaps is that Miami's offensive unit has been in Buffalo territory one time, and not a bad night for Shreveport Joe.
You mean for the quarterback coach in Natchitoches, Louisiana, at Northwestern State University? That's the same guy right there in Natchitoches.
That's near the Sabine River, I believe.
That's about the same distance as Nacogdoches is over on the Texas side.
Don Strock.
Well, that's
David
interesting.
Woodley. You can see the flak jacket that Woodley has on, the bulge around the midriff. Again, he has a hairline fracture of a rib in his back. And we've been told that he could play, but we doubt if we will see him unless some way Miami can get back into this ball game.
It may be that Woodley will be inserted. We'll have to see. So many attempts to make the game of football far more complicated than it is. A great coach once said, "Don't talk to me about trick formations or anything of that nature. You block better, you tackle better than the other team, you win the football game." Tonight, the Bills are doing everything right. They are blocking, they are tackling. In a word, they are executing. The play calling is excellent. The receivers are running ideal pass routes. It's that simple.
You had a look at Byron Franklin, number 85, and Roland Hooks. They await the kickoff of Uwe von Schaumann. The Bills will have first possession, and one has to wonder what Don Shula said to the troops at halftime. Franklin up the sideline. Flag is down as Franklin is down out of the 18-yard line by a hustling Don Besselou for Miami. Again, a flag is down.
Besselou had been blocked and then got up and made that tackle. That's good hustle, is right.
I wonder about what Don Shula would say to his troops, because quite frankly, I don't believe Don Shula has ever been in this situation. Down by 24 points at halftime.
I don't recall it in all of his years of coaching.
Here's Pat Haggerty, our referee.
Holding, number 41, on the return.
Colton Walker has been busy tonight.
He got to start somewhere. It's all right, Fulton.
And Colton Walker stays in the left cornerback for the Dolphins.
Hey, wait a minute. We got Fulton holding, and he's on the other team. That can't be Fulton. It's got to be Phil Filippiano.
I think it's Phil Villapiano.
Yeah, we've given him enough trouble as it is. I'm sorry,
Well, he has
Fulton.
been busy, though. Here's Cribbs.
He made that tackle right there, too.
Good blast up the middle. Gets out to the 16-yard line, taken there by Kozlowski.
And Fulton Walker now. Fulton was in there.
Well, you just saw Borchardt, number 73, the replacement for Reggie McKeever. When he went out early in the game, he won't be back tonight. Evidence of how great the Bills have played tonight. They haven't even missed McKeever. That's the replacement.
McKenzie.
McKenzie.
Yeah, Borchardt has replaced McKenzie, 73. His second down at 3. McCutcheon, right side. Carrying tacklers with him up close to a first down, perhaps inches short.
Remember the McKeever pair?
I sure do. Mike and Marlon.
Reggie McKenzie.
Or was it Merlin? Marlon.
Nobody's perfect.
Changes. It'll be just short of the first down, and we'll see Roosevelt Leaks. That's
In McCutcheon going off, you may have mentioned it, Frank, but he gained 64 yards last week. And
he's been a big help with an injured Curtis Brown.
He really has. And this Roosevelt Leaks is a guy. Had a great career at University of Texas. Now, wait a minute. They made a first down.
And Leaks will come back out, and McCutcheon will come back in. Well, nobody has done it better in a long time here at Rich Stadium in one half of football. Buffalo Bills running on all 8 cylinders tonight.
They look just terrific.
19-yard line, 1st and 10. McCutcheon, 30. Cribbs, 20. Those are your setbacks. Joe Cribbs. Blockers in front. And Cribbs upended. But he can even do that gracefully.
He really did.
It's Fulton Walker who tripped him up. After a gain of 3, it'll be 2nd down and 7.
And you will see the Bills. They can keep it on the ground and make the yardage. Just ball control the way they did so much of the first half. Bill Villapiano. Jersey lad. Bowling Green.
Bill.
Great years with Oakland. And now Buffalo.
Name in a trade.
Did so much of the first half. Bill Villapiano. Jersey lad. Bowling Green. Bill. Great years with Oakland. And now Buffalo.
Name in a trade for Bob Chandler. On 2nd and 7. Ferguson, with all the time he might need, misses Bramer for what could have been a first down. It'll be 3rd down and a long 7.
Went to the air.
Yeah, 3rd and long. I mean, 2nd and long that time. He'll probably go there again. You know, that's a situation where sometimes you almost have too much time to throw. You think something's going to go wrong. You have a way of saying, wait a minute, I'm back here a little bit too long. He heard his pass a little bit, didn't really have to. Threw a little bit behind Bramer that time.
11 of 16, 222 yards. Ferguson slips back into the shotgun. More and more teams going to the shotgun. Frank Lewis. The ball was short. Lewis had time. Not good coverage defensively over there on the left side for Miami, and another first down for Buffalo.
I even thought, Frank, it was mildly deflected.
Couldn't tell one way or the other. It was a little bit underthrown. See old Fulton trying to stay with Frank. Frank's kind of easing out to the outside. Fulton got lost there in his turnaround. He says, wait a minute. Hit me. Trying to get deep. They hit back in front of me. Blackwood comes in. That's Lyle Blackwood, the brother of Glenn Blackwood. We had him. He was out of football. He's the newest addition, or one of the newest additions to the Miami secondary.
Baltimore let him go this year. He tried with the Giants. They let him go. Now he's joined his brother here at Miami. The first down is at the 42-yard line for Buffalo. Ferguson rifles it out complete to Terry Butler.
Butler made a good adjustment that time. The ball was thrown behind him. Butler had that natural savvy to come back in and pick up that pass. He got a little pressure that time, too.
And he gets 9 yards.
What they're doing that's interesting is they're not sitting, as you look at that play in isolation, on the lead. They're throwing safe passes, really, and they're chewing up yardage that way.
I'll tell you, Howard, if you're in a game like this, you're an offensive player, this is a fun kind of a game. Everything works. Receivers are calling for the ball. The ball carriers want to carry it. They work on their stats. Quick count. McCutcheon on 2nd down and 1. He gets the first down at the 46-yard line.
Great to that ball.
It's just the opposite in the Miami huddle. You look around and you say, who wants this ball? And nobody. Everybody's looking the other way.
Bill scored 5 of their first 6 possessions in the first half. 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
McCutcheon may have been shaken up a little bit that last play.
Tonight, at least, up to this point, Frank, I think they're as good a football team as we've seen this year, including San Diego's opening game, awesome performance against Cleveland. This is so solid on defense.
Indeed, they have covered all the bases tonight. Cribbs. As Roosevelt Leaks leads the way, he has replaced Lawrence McCutcheon, who appeared to be favoring his left leg as he left the field. Cribbs inside the 45-yard line, down to the 43.
Not since 1971, Bob Carney of the Miami Dolphins tells me, has a Shula coach team been down more than 18 points at halftime. They were tonight. They were down 24.
The following year, they went 17-0 and won the Super Bowl. Interesting. Second down, long 7. Cribbs skips along the line of scrimmage, nothing doing, settles for a half a yard perhaps. It'll be 3rd and long. Ernie Roan defensively there, moving in from the 3-4 Miami defense.
Cribbs carried for 1 yard.
Specialty players moving out onto the field. Passing situation for Ferguson. Roland Hooks now in. Number 25 for Buffalo. He can do a lot of things and has over the years for the Bills. Byron Franklin adjusting. And almost picked off. Kim Bocamper back there defensively rather than on the pass rush for Miami. Does not hold on. It'll be 4th down, and Buffalo will have to turn it over. I'd like to wish everyone around the nation a very happy Columbus Day, and also to our friends up across the border in Canada, a happy Thanksgiving Day.
That's kind of unusual. I didn't realize that. It's Thanksgiving Day in Canada.
And as Joe Robbie just told us, it's been Thanksgiving Day for him.
That's right.
From Canada.
That is right. I'm happy to hear that.
Greg Cater. Deep is Figueredo. Rookie from Virginia. Figueredo signals for the fair catch and pulls it off the 13-yard line. And Miami will start once again deep in their own territory. Their first possession of the second half. And they are down 31-7. We'll be right back. Dolphins. The Bills moved up a little more than 6 minutes on that drive before they had to punt. And Strock looks over a first down on his own 13-yard line. This is Tony Nathan. Nathan finds a big hole over the left side, and Nathan out over the 20-yard line, close to the 22, upended by Rod Cush, number 42. Haslett back there helping.
You're in a situation like this. You're one of the greatest coaches of all time. Your name is Don Shula. You want your team to keep its poise, not panic, and maybe some breaks will come your way, and you can make it competitive. That's all you can do at this point.
Second down and 2. Franklin. Flag is down. Franklin had the yardage for the first down, and we understand that Lawrence McCutcheon, the Bills, has suffered a knee injury, and he will not be back tonight. And a face mask being indicated against Buffalo. One of the few mistakes they've made tonight. That will be a first down for Miami out to the 30-yard line.
Face pass. Defense. First down.
No number indicated. Miami has a 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Once again, Miami has penetrated Buffalo territory with their offensive unit one time tonight. Strock puts both backs to the left. Goes to Figueredo. Figueredo looks to the line of scrimmage, maybe ekes out a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. You're probably right. I think Don Shula, I think we know he probably didn't jump up and down at halftime. That's just not his nature. But he sent his offensive unit back out onto the field. An offensive unit, quite frankly, has been being mauled. Said, let's settle down. Let's get something happening. Nathan on 2nd and 9. And Nathan stays on his feet and stays in bounds. He's out close to a first down. Nifty running by Tony Nathan.
There is Reggie McKenzie on crutches. All right, Reg, keep the faith.
Well, he could be saying hello to one of his great friends, that, of course, O.J. Simpson. How Reggie McKenzie escorted O.J. for so many years.
Well, Miami has the oranges. Buffalo no longer has the juice. But tonight, Buffalo has the juice in a different vein.
Third down, less than a yard for the first. The big man, Franklin, easy first down, out close to the 44-yard line. Franklin carries 225 pounds on a 5'10" frame. Very low center of gravity, and he is improving week after week.
I would say that Miami, for the rest of the night, is no longer in a 3-down situation. They're in a 4-down situation all night. They're going to go for it the rest of the game.
That's the time remaining in the third quarter. Less than 7 minutes. Draw action. Shot. Fires it complete. This is Ronnie Lee, and Ronnie Lee is in ill territory. And the arms of Isaiah Robertson, but he has the first down. Miami thus far has not really used their tight ends during the season.
Kind of unusual to see a little play-action fake that just happens. Nobody's really holding in there. Ronnie Lee, third-year man out of Baylor, really made a pretty good reception. He was, I would say, pretty well covered by Rod Cush. Number 42 there.
Miami now moving the ball down the field. Franklin, Andre Franklin, a rookie from Nebraska. Uses his size and bulk. Picks up a quick 3 yards. It will be second down and 7. We want to pause 5 seconds now and allow our stations around the country identify themselves.
This is WOKR-TV, Channel 13, Rochester, New York.
And from Rich Stadium, if you have just joined us, it has been a night for the Buffalo Bills. They have totally dominated the Miami Dolphins, leading 31-7 at half. And the score remains here in the third quarter as Miami now has moved the ball for only the second time into Buffalo territory. Second down and 7. Nick Giaquinto is in the lineup now for Miami. Schrock has the time and fires. There's a nifty catch downfield. It's Duriel Harris.
Oh, that was a lovely catch. He came back in behind the defender and made a good catch low.
I tell you, look at this play in isolation, but at the same time, this is Coach Don Shula. Instead of panicking, just as I suggested earlier, a controlled offense moving downfield. Don't worry about the score. Look, if you get breaks and become competitive, fine, but look to the future. Don't let your young team suddenly fall apart, lose confidence for the future. A test of Shula as a coach.
Inside the 21 on the 1st and 10, and the ball is dropped by Harris. And Harris did not have his screen out in front of it, so nothing perhaps lost.
Was that the same guy that just made that other catch a moment ago? The same guy.
Yep.
Ball was a little bit low.
But a test I think that Shula, Frank, is meeting beautifully. Don't you agree?
He has met them over the years, and you're exactly right. I'm sure that's what he said to his troops inside at halftime. He's got a very young football team. There's a man that has gone through 2 or 3 rebuilding stages, and as I mentioned earlier, in 18 years as a head coach, he's only had 1 losing season. 197 total victories for Don Shula. Strock on a second down and 10. Man is open. It's Nathan, and Nathan is leveled at the 13-yard line, short of the first down. Mario Clark defensively there for Buffalo. It'll be third down and about 2.
Got a little pressure. Good. Another good defensive play by Mario Clark. Ball's pretty well on the money. Nathan catches it, and right there's Mario.
Pretty good pass, too. There was a man right in Strock's face.
That's true. That man was Big Ben Williams, who's been in there on his quarterbacks an awful lot.
Miami's deepest penetration. Short yardage, 3rd and 2. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
And there will be no first down as Andre Franklin is met.
Shane Nelson, number 59, came across.
And Hazlitt, the other point of that Bermuda Triangle, is coming off the field, favoring his left shoulder.
He's in pain, as you can see.
And it'll be fourth down for Miami.
There'll be no field goal attempt here. There would be no reason for it.
Don Strock, who calls most of his plays tonight on his own, gets this play from the bench. The delivery man is Nat Moore. Steps into the huddle, gives it to Strock. And this is the fourth down call.
6 seconds left on his 30-second clock. 4.
They'll have to hurry.
3, 2, 1.
Flips it off. Nathan. Tony Nathan. A sprint into the end zone. And Miami started this drive at their own 13-yard line. They took it the length of the field. And they are once again respectable.
Nathan carries for the touchdown.
Tony Nathan with a really fine run. As so often happens on short yardage situations, if you get by the line of scrimmage, you can take it a long way.
I think this may be even the first rushing touchdown against the Buffalo defense this year. And it's Tony Nathan's first touchdown this year also. That was good balance on Nathan's part. But I think the Buffalo defense was expecting him to hit the middle. He bounced outside and scored.
Uwe von Schaman for the conversion. And Miami, with a very sharp offensive team on the field here for their first series, has moved from their own 13-yard line to bring the score to 31-14. And we'll be back at Rich Stadium in Buffalo in just a moment. And 57 seconds remaining in the third quarter. There has been one possession by each team here in the third quarter. Buffalo had it 6:23 in their first possession. Miami had it 6 minutes, and they got the touchdown. Von Schaman hits it. That is taken by Byron Franklin. Franklin, you could hear that smash up here in the booth. Franklin to the 20-yard line. Steve Potter down there defensively.
6 minutes, as you saw in that drive by Miami, and very interesting. In a game that had become a blowout and probably still is, Shula had his team totally controlled. In the immortal words of Don Meredith, evidence of character.
Evidence of character. That's right. Another little statistic on Shula you're talking about. Miami is the least penalized team over the last 5 years. That has something to say, too, right? Yes.
First down and 10. Buffalo at their own 20-yard line. Ferguson has all the time in the world. Fires to the big tight end. It's Kramer with the completion for a first down after the 42-yard line. Kramer working against Glenn Blackwood.
You know, this game, in spite of the fact that there's a big disparity in score, this is interesting. Buffalo comes out right to the air.
Right to the I always marvel at these big tight ends. They know good and well as soon as they catch the ball, they're going to get hit right in the small of the back. And they didn't disappoint them that time. That was Glenn Blackwood. But Mark Bramer was right down the middle. Good opening in there. The ball was laid up over that linebacker before they get to the secondary. Right in a good hole. Middle zone.
Marked at the 41. First and 10 Buffalo. Once again, they lead 31-14. Roosevelt leaps. Finds a big hole and just pulls over Glenn Blackwood as he gets another first down. This time down at the 47-yard line of Miami. Roosevelt leaks in there for an injured Lawrence McCutcheon. McCutcheon was in there for an injured Curtis Brown. The Buffalo has not lost a whole lot of fullbacks.
You're going to see a couple of Texas Longhorns hook it up. Here's Roosevelt Leaks coming across. And in comes Blackwood.
First down and 10 once again. Joe Cripps. And Joe Cripps gets 3 yards. Perhaps 4. Call it second down and 6. Fast third quarter. We have 1 minute remaining. And this is Buffalo's second possession. Miami's had it 1 possession.
They're chewing up that clock.
Second down and 6. 43-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. Miami with a game-and-a-half lead. They're undefeated in the Eastern Division of the AFC. Buffalo, with a win tonight, will draw within a half a game. Kramer. And apparently it's been ruled a fumble. And out of bounds. And, of course, the ball remains with the offensive team. Bob Brzezinski hit Bramer. And the ball goes out of bounds back at the 45-yard line, where it'll be third down, Buffalo. They mark it at the 46-yard line, so it'll be third down and 9 for Joe Ferguson and his Buffalo Bills. Specialty players out onto the field defensively for Miami. The Fife and Drum Brigade.
The
hard-hitting game. Third and 9. Out of the shotgun, Ferguson. Ferguson hanging it up. It was Byron Franklin, the speedster. Incomplete. It'll be fourth down. And once again, Buffalo will have to turn it over.
Joe is a little mad at himself, but he shouldn't be. He was under intense pressure, had to get rid of the ball immediately, and succeeded in doing so and almost made it work. It was a wobbly pass. No statute says one must throw a spiral. Joe Kapp understood that very well.
Great.
A lot of us did.
Great cater to punt. Tommy Vigorito for Miami is at his 10-yard line. He'll be guessing with Cater. Cater will be trying to put it out of bounds. And not one of your finer efforts. Cater catches it out of bounds, all right. But it's going to be up out over the 25-yard line. Miami. And they drove the last time from their 13-yard line from a score. Will have a first and 10 at their own 25.
Another letter, Marge.
Full night in Buffalo, if you like your temperatures in the upper 30s. Beautiful harvest moon full here in Buffalo.
Bills over Miami.
Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, the singing one. Hopefully we can avoid his rendition of Old Blue tonight.
Old Blue is coming, whether you want it or not. Either tonight or maybe next Sunday.
First and 10, the Dolphins. They have the ball, their own 26-yard line. Strock hiding the ball, trying to go deep, trying to get back into this game. And off the fingertips of Nat Moore, who made some spectacular catches only a week ago against the Jets, setting a Dolphin record for yardage. This one he could not hold on as he was dueling Charles Romes, the cornerback of Buffalo.
Yeah, the good fake that time by Strock didn't fool Romes at all. He was back there all the way. It would have been one of those things, a miraculous catch or a pass interference.
When you're leading 31-14, you're not going to be fooled by a whole lot of play action.
That's right.
Second down, 10. What Buffalo does not want to do is give anything up cheap. 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Strock hooks up a Goodyear blimp, incomplete.
Good to see that Don Haslett, we saw number 55 for the Bills, go out a while ago, and he's back in his linebacker position. If they lose him, that's one of the corners of that Bermuda Triangle they talk about. He's back in that defensive huddle.
That acted the way he held his arm like perhaps maybe a pinched nerve, but he's back in there defensively. Now he comes back out, but he's coming back out as Buffalo quite naturally assumes pass on a third down and 10.
Different approach in this series to the last control drive where they mixed the run with the pass.
Strock. And it's open, and it's complete. And it's complete to Dorial Harris, who has the first down for Miami. As the gun sounds, you're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. Into the third quarter, the score 31-14 Buffalo, and we'll return for fourth quarter action after this message from our local stations.
Jacqueline.
The moon over Buffalo. And is having a strange effect.
Looks like it's not really full until tomorrow. Oh, my God. Wonder what they'll do tomorrow.
Some of our technicians from Yankee Stadium last night, they've been working hard over the past few weeks.
Those guys have been on the road too long. Give them some rest.
Miami, first down and 10. The ball at their own 45-yard line as we begin the fourth and final quarter. Tony Nathan. Bob Kuchenberg out in front. Nathan cuts back against the grain. Big yardage. First down at the 42-yard line of Buffalo. And Miami has really moved the football here in the second half. Tony Nathan coming back after just a couple of weeks.
And the big edge is clearly still with Buffalo in every regard, including time of possession. The 3 Miami turnovers, a very big part of the reason for Buffalo's dominance. But Miami's showing real coaching discipline and leadership.
They're at the 42-yard line of Buffalo. Strock changing it off. Franklin adjusts. Strock throws into a crowd, but he finds Nat Moore, who with great concentration comes down with it. To the 32-yard line. Very close to another first down.
Good move. Mario Clark is a defensive quarterback you see coming up just fairly late. Good concentration right by Nat Moore. Got so close to the sideline, couldn't do anything but fall out.
He has been an amazing receiver over the years.
Measurement.
He really has.
Absolutely amazing, some of the things he comes up with. And a first down. Good shot by Don Strock to Nat Moore, and Miami continues to move. Fun to watch a team go in trailing, as did Miami, 31-7. Come back out, pull it all back together again.
It's kind of fun to second guess every once in a while, and you wonder now why they didn't kick that field goal.
They sure do. Should Miami score, they'd only be 7 behind.
Tony Nathan, left side, on first down, gets a yard and a half. Shane Nelson, Jim Haslett, defensively there for Buffalo, as they so often are. The Bills, the defending champions of the AFC East. They lost that playoff game to San Diego, 20-14. Joe Ferguson, perhaps, maybe should not have even been playing that game, but he almost
played on one leg.
Yes,
one leg.
Did.
Greatest performances, most courageous I have ever seen.
Did somebody drop an interception to somebody? Anyway, I'm sorry, I mentioned that.
Second down and 8. Strock.
Cephalo.
This is Cephalo, and it is complete. Cephalo down close to the 20-yard line and close to another Miami first down.
You see him circle back, Don?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We were talking about Cephalo earlier. He does have he's a very experienced-looking receiver out there. He really has good presence. He came back in behind that ball, picked it up a little bit behind him. Late throw or whatever you want to call it.
First down Miami, 20-yard line of Buffalo.
When they leave Paterno, they have presence.
And they miss him every once in a while, too. He's such a nice person.
This capacity crowd of 80,000 beginning to wonder just a bit. Strock goes behind Duriel Harris, incomplete.
He had him, too.
Yeah, that's the same Jim Haslett that I called Don Haslett a while ago that knocked that one away. Same guy. One of his name is Jimmy Dunn. Look at Haslett move out. He did hurt his shoulder, it looked like a while ago, and that's one of the things that linebackers have got to have. Good move, set that position, good hand, got it out, knocked it away.
Interesting, they take Haslett out on obvious passing downs. He's out of the lineup now. That was a good move he made, deflecting that ball. Second down and 10 for Miami. This is Miami's second possession of the second half. They took it in. The length of the field the first time they had the ball. Strock has the time and throws behind Jimmy Cephalo, who was well covered.
Yeah, he didn't have anybody open that time, Frank. He only had 2 receivers out in the pattern, and both of them were pretty well covered.
Dangerous throw, in fact.
Yeah, the Bills came with they brought some linebackers that time, trying to put some extra pressure on him.
That was Rufus Best Back there, getting help from Bill Simpson. Inside-out coverage, and it puts Don Strock in a 3rd down and 10. Strock puts Cephalo out to the right. Nat Moore and Duriel Harris, top of your screen. Those are the wide receivers. Going in the corner for Duriel Harris, and it's picked off. Charles Rooms for the Bills.
Good.
And Rooms brings it out to the 18-yard line, turning Miami back. Good defensive play by the 5th-year man out of North Carolina Central.
Was good defensive play, but he was really well covered again. There was nobody open over there trying to hit Cephalo. Let's look at it from the reverse angle, the other side of the field. Struck, had some time to throw, puts the ball up. Good defensive play. That was Duriel Harris instead of Cephalo.
Just a little underthrow.
It was.
Miami has it turned over, and Buffalo will have the ball at their 18-yard line. We're in the 4th quarter with 12:17 remaining, and we'll be back at Rich Stadium in a moment.
I'll tell you, we never realized golf was such a tough game.
A man who worked the recent Yankee series against the Brewers with us had an unfortunate automobile accident the other night on the way home. Must undergo surgery. We miss him terribly.
Speedy recovery.
Indeed, indeed.
We'll get him back. Good man. We miss him. 1st down and 10, Buffalo. Roosevelt leaks right side for the Bills. Again, really the third fullback for Buffalo.
Good work, Charlie. You were there.
Curtis Brown out of action, hyperextended knee. That happened in our game on Thursday night 3 weeks ago. Lawrence McCutcheon hurt tonight. I want to remind you, Saturday coming your way, Wide World of Sports. Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns. See it for yourself. First time on free TV. And, of course, college football immediately following. And featuring, of course, number 1 ranked Texas against Arkansas.
And Leonard and Hearns will be with me in the studio for that telecast.
Leaks got 4. It's 2nd down and 6 for Buffalo. Ball at their own 23-yard line. Joe Cribbs. And Cribbs goes down in the arms of Doug Betters. That's the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and long. Regional telecast, so check the listing for the game in your area. Of course, headed by number 1 ranked Texas and Arkansas. All of that following the Leonard Hearns fight Saturday.
Did you see the Leonard Hearns fight, Frank?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
We were traveling somewhere.
We were on the road again.
We were here, as a matter of fact.
Really memorable event.
Out of the shotgun. For Ferguson. He'll be careful with it. One thing he does not want to do is turn it over. Fired, and it's complete. Ron Jesse holds on.
You know, one of the things that the shotgun, a lot of folks are using the shotgun. I think 13, 14 teams in the league now use it. And
Tarkenton doesn't like it.
Huh? What'd you think?
Tarkenton doesn't like it.
Oh, well, I hadn't even thought about that. But what I was going to say is that there's a lot of folks, and I think the best way to beat the shotgun is to rush a lot of people at him. I mean, you give that guy some time to throw back there, and that's where it becomes really a very effective offensive formation. And they only rush 4 guys then, 3 at the most. Send some people back there. Make him hurry.
Jesse gets the 1st down at the 33-yard line. Roosevelt Leaks finds an opening, and Roosevelt Leaks gets yardage. Out over the 35.
Fran made an interesting point, though, Don.
Yep.
He contends that you run the risk of fumble with the long snap that they're not accustomed to.
Yeah. Well, I'll get old Fran. I'll sit him down. We'll talk about that one of these days. We might even do it coming up pretty soon. Who knows?
Leaks got 6 yards. One thing about the Bills, they really protect Ferguson. He's been sacked only twice this year. That's leading the NFL thus far in the season. Last year, they led the league in protecting their quarterback. Ferguson sacked only 20 times over the course of the 1980 season. 2nd down and 4. Joe Cribbs, and a flag goes down as Cribbs gets to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Bob Baumauer penetrating there for Miami.
Frank, you're talking about the sacks or the lack of sacks that Buffalo has. They've got a little deal working here where that if somebody sacks the quarterback, whose ever man it was, he throws about $10 in the pot, and they give it to some charity. But if Ferguson goes an entire game and is not sacked, he has to throw in 100. I'd say that's equal. That's fair.
Holding, number 53, offense.
Holding is the center, Will Grant. And Buffalo is backed up. Full moon, as we told you here in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Bills are backed up to their 29-yard line. It'll be second down and 14. Ferguson eschews the shotgun, stays straight T.
What did he do?
Eschew. He gave it to Howard. Oh, and he wanted it so desperately. Incomplete. It'll be third down and 14. Eschew.
Eschew.
Gesundheit.
That's bless you, yeah.
Still a good word.
Yeah.
For 11 years, I picked up a lot of them.
Yeah. And a lot of
They're
it
kind of buzzwords. They're in for a while. Remember when plethora was in? Very, very in.
Yeah. A veritable plethora of insignificant trivia was big for a long time. Now we're giving backdrops and overviews.
And storylines. We don't want to forget that. Ferguson now in the shotgun. Ferguson.
Intercept.
Going deep, and it was intended for Ron Jesse. And going up high, knocking it away was Lyle Blackwood. And Buffalo struggling now here in the second half. Will have to punt.
We have had a lot of fun here, haven't we?
Yeah, still is. I'm having a good time.
Long time. 12th year.
Greg Cater. Tommy Vigorito, the rookie 5th-round draft pick out of Virginia. Vigorito has stationed himself at his own 28-yard line. Cater with a booming punt. Vigorito back close to his 20.
Good move.
And works his way out over the 25 to the 27. And Miami will have possession again with 8:51 remaining in the game. 49-yard punt by Cater, who's been very consistent for the Buffalo Bills, and we'll be back in a moment.
We can't keep...
Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Don Meredith. We have a backup color man, Bob Biatti's in our booth tonight. Bob,
he's doing research.
Former University of Colorado coach, now covering some NCAA regional college football for ABC. 27-yard line for Miami. 1st and 10. Brock. Complete. Muriel Harris dances along the sidelines and puts on his little acrobatic act, as he can really do so well.
Tiptoe through the tulips. That was a good one right there.
First down, Miami.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
With me.
Nick Lucas with the old guitar back in the young 30s. You remember it well.
Yep, I remember that pretty well. But I basically remember Tiny Tim doing it. It was in the...
What's the song you have popularized?
I'm not singing it.
Old Blue?
No, I'm saving Old Blue for guys.
Don Strock. Single setback. Tony Nathan. First down 10. That one deflected away.
He might have been lucky there. It could have been picked off by Rose. Rose was playing that thing really well. He was trying to hit Matt Moore over the middle.
Isaiah Robertson, who again sort of freelances out there defensively, but he has the speed and the quickness to do so. He got a Don Strock interception earlier in the game. Strock has given up 4 tonight. That's only 1 off the Miami record held by Greasy at 5.
You see Isaiah, number 58, right in the middle there. I think he knocked that one down. Got some help from some of his friends on the inside.
Second down and 10. Flag. You saw the movement by Buffalo. Strock has another one deflected. But again, a flag is down, and it did appear as if there was movement on the part of Buffalo. Perhaps encroachment. Yes. Perhaps. And so indicated.
Can't say Strock's too short. He's 6'5". Still getting them batted down.
Now it'll be second down and 5. I'll remind you tonight.
Offside. Defense.
On ABC News Nightline. Well, Nightline will focus tonight on the popularity of country music. But Andy one can tell you all about that. And one of the guest stars will be Barbara Mandrell.
Oh, the Nightline ain't no good line. No, but it's my line. That'll be a good one.
Why don't you try whistling?
No.
On second and 5. Strock under pressure. And Strock tries to get it into a crowd. The intended receiver was Rose. Isaiah Robertson was there. And Jeff Nixon.
I'll tell you, Strock had it in there. Jim just didn't hold it.
Yep. I really like Barbara Mandrell. She's fun.
She's a terrific kid.
She's neat. Good, really good entertainer.
And a great kid. She did the Battle of Network Stars with me last time around. Really fun girl.
Hey, guys, it's 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. Here we go, right here. Miami has the ball. Don Strock is the quarterback. Miami Dolphins ease up to the line of scrimmage. Stock reads his defense, sets them for 3 set. Whoop.
And down goes Strock. Darrell Irvin, a second-year man out of Oklahoma, injury reserve all last year, put the pressure on. Big man, 6'4", 255-pounder out of Oklahoma. And that will bring up 4th down, and it will produce Tom Orris, the punter. And the 2 men deep employed by Buffalo will be Roland Hooks, number 25, and Byron Franklin, number 85. Now Hooks is left alone as Byron Franklin moves up the field. Orris, low kick. And it takes the Miami bounce inside the 25, down around the 22-yard line where it is killed by Don Besselou. 44-yard punt by Orris with the benefit of a fine bounce. 7:57 remaining in the game. We'll be back in a moment. Over Miami, and I don't believe a soul is left this jam-packed stadium. They love it here in Buffalo. They love their Buffalo Bills, and they have a 1st and 10 now. Ball at their own 22-yard line. Here comes Roosevelt Leaks, and he's piled up. Doug Betters defensively there for Miami, number 75. Doug Betters is quite a performer. He replaced A.J. Dewey a couple of years ago when Dewey was hurt. Quite frankly, it enabled Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coach for Miami, to move A.J. Dewey to the linebacker position because Betters has just continued to improve since he arrived 4 years ago. He has moved from the right side to the left side and performing even better there. Gain of about 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2nd down and 8. Joe Cribbs. Cribbs picks up another 2 or 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 4, and the Bills are now working on the clock that shows 7 minutes remaining in the game.
You know, the first 3 games, that's a revealing graphic. Really is. First 3 games, that young Miami defense seemed impenetrable. And Bill Arnsparger, of course, recognized as a defensive genius. But look at the last 3 games. For a moment at least, they've fallen apart.
3rd down, long 3.
Rather fortunate in winning 2 or 3 of their ball games. Colts. Whoops.
Out of the shotgun. Ferguson. Cribbs. 1st down, Buffalo. Out over the 35-yard line. Lynn Blackwood there defensively. I tell you, Miami has given up 395 yards already tonight. In the last 2 games, they have given up over 1,000. So they have given up there right around 1,500 yards in 3 games, and this one's not over.
Well, you know, the Bills have done that, too, the last couple of games, Frank. And Bill Simpson, the veteran defensive safety for Buffalo, saying the main reason is that they really have changed a lot of rules, and the things that you look for in the past are not the same now because they're really giving up a lot of yardage but still winning some ball games. Offensively oriented football.
1st and 10. Cribbs. Flag is down. Cribbs is down after a gain of a couple. Holding indicated against Buffalo.
Isaiah is a Yankee fan. Well, for the first 3 innings yesterday, it appeared you had major problems, my friend, until Red Giroux came through with his own personal dramatic play.
Hey, Don and I were hanging around at a place called Sebastian's here in Buffalo watching that, and I got goose pimples when he blasted that home run.
Offense.
He's amazing.
Holding the center, Will Grant.
I think that George Steinbrenner's a new, is it T.P. Barnum? Who was the guy with Barnum and Bailey? I think Steinbrenner.
P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, P.T. I think George has taken over from P.T.
He works him up.
First down and 20. Ferguson.
Oh,
Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis has an open field, and now he goes down in the arms of Fulton Walker, but it's first down Buffalo.
Frank, wonderful job that time of Ferguson waiting till the last minute to deliver that ball. You see him, he had plenty of time to throw, and that's just terrific when you got that much time to throw.
You're so right, Don, and you know what he did? He went up and gave his center, Will Grant, and Dobler both a pat on the back, because he knew he had to hold it a long time.
Look at this time. Now that he sees him bringing it across, boy, that's nice. He can drop. You just can't cover a guy that long. Frank Lewis just started running, picked him up way across about the middle. Good move. Good old Frank from Grambling, 11 years in the league, 34 years old.
Necktie tackle.
The
By the way,
education of Fulton Walker continues.
Chuck Bednarik sent word. He wished that you had hit him harder.
Well, how did that figure in? What was it?
First down and 10. Roosevelt leaks. Bowling his way to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Leaks is one of those recharge players that Chuck Knox has brought in. They got him from Baltimore. Off the waiver list a year ago. Big
Over
night for Joe
300
Ferguson.
yards. How do you like that? What a day for Joe Ferguson, or night.
Tonight is really going to tighten up this AFC East. The Bills will be a half a game behind Miami. Leaks. Goes back to the inside. Finds a little opening. Gets a yard, a couple of yards perhaps. It'll be third down and 3.
Chewing up the clock in a hurry. We're down to 4 minutes and counting.
3-yard game.
Had a lot of teeth.
Good hard-hitting football game. And out comes the specialty unit for the Dolphins. Joe Ferguson watching the end zone clock. It tells him how much of his 30 seconds he has left. He'll tick it right down before he takes the snap. And he'll take it from the shotgun. And with 1 second left, they snap the ball. Whoop. Ferguson, it's complete. And it's Frank Lewis. And again, great time for Ferguson. That offensive line really protecting him.
But still working like a surgeon out there. In a manner at least somewhat similar to Bob Greasy. He's in the Miami Dolphins coaching booth up here tonight. A few booths to our right.
That was a good little experienced move there by Frank. That ball was really thrown on good timing because he didn't have much time to do anything but turn around and catch it. 5 for 106. Not a bad night, Frank.
First and 10, 20-yard line. Ferguson rifles a shot to Butler. He is really pounded. With the rule possession.
Oh, no.
Well, that's that new rule this year.
No, Frank, but that's he didn't have
If the
possession
ball
of
is
that ball.
possessed at all, they do not have to do anything inherent to the game. That's a redefinition of the rule this year.
He's got to catch the ball, hasn't he?
That's right. I agree with you,
Well,
John.
I don't know. Let's take a look. It didn't look like it from here the first time.
He holds it for a moment.
Yep.
He does not have to do anything inherent to the game.
He held it for a quarter of a moment.
I was talking with Art McNally early in the year. He said, we'll have problems with that. And they are seeing it here tonight. It'll be first and 10 Miami. They have possession.
Tonight, a look inside the new 767.
Long before the 767 went into its certification tests, Boeing asked frequent air travel.
Ball loose from Jerry Butler. The crowd still doesn't like it. Good call, I think.
Well,
under the definition of the new rule.
You understand the rules better than I do. I thought it was a bad thing.
Well, only a little bit.
Yeah, I know. You read
First
more.
and 10. Drop. Screen. Giaquinto. And Giaquinto out over the 15, up close to the 18-yard line, upended by Darrell Irvin.
Close to the 2-minute warning.
Gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6. Giaquinto. He's been cut a few times. The Jets cut him. The Giants cut him. He's cut up in Ottawa. The Dolphins cut him earlier this year.
He must heal well.
It's a great line.
Second and 6. Complete to Joe Rose. He's in there at tight end now for the Dolphins. He gets the first down up to the 25-yard line.
Oh, you're hot tonight, Cowboy.
Those things happen.
Don Strock. With the 2-minute warning, we'll go over and see if Don Shula has any thoughts about
4x4 truck is ground clearance at the critical point. The differential
will suffer their first defeat of the young season, and Philadelphia will remain the only team that's undefeated in the NFL after 6 weeks of play. By the way, we'll see Miami and Philadelphia later this year. It'll be November the 30th from Miami. We'll also see Buffalo at Dallas November the 9th. Stock, Rose, and Rose first down at the 35-yard line. Isaiah Robertson there defensively. Strock with the hurry-up offense, still trying to put points on the board. And it's complete. Ariel Harris with another fine catch. In Bill territory at the 48. Miami has their 3 timeouts. Strock. Joe Rose, a second-year man from the University of California. Pickup of 8. It'll be second down and 2. We're heading towards 1 minute. Rock. Netmore. And Netmore upended. Tackle, Mario Clark. That's short of the first down. It'll be third down and 2. And Don Strock uses one of the Miami Dolphins timeouts. And that's what the AFC East will look like in a matter of seconds. We'll be returning to Rich Stadium in Buffalo in just a moment.
This is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. I wonder what had happened if the Jets had beat Miami.
Third down and 2. Again, Buffalo, encroachment. Strock over the middle, and again, it's a complete pass to Joe Rose, the tight end. That penalty did look as though it would work against Buffalo. Clock is stopped. And, of course, it will be declined by Miami, because they'll have a first down at the 28-yard line. And they have 46 seconds. Miami trying to put points on the board. Next Sunday, the Buffalo Bills will be playing the New York Jets in New York. And Washington will be at the Orange Bowl for the Miami Dolphins.
Now, had the Jets beaten Miami, what would we have, Howard?
Well, if they had beaten Buffalo, if they could have beaten Buffalo next week, they would have been right up there.
If and but for candy and nuts.
First and 10, Miami. Giaquinto, number 35, the single setback for the Dolphins. Ariel Harris out of bounds, stopping the clock with 39 seconds and another Miami first down. Charles Romes, the defender there for Buffalo. Clock is still running. I guess he ruled that the tackle was made inbounds.
I think the Dolphins called timeout.
Strock had to call timeout.
Yeah.
And he's complaining about it. Yeah, Strock is a competitor. This game is history. But now there's 28 seconds remaining in the game. And Miami will have another first down. They'll be at the 13-yard line of the Bills.
When I'm not making music with the Charlie Day.
Not only witnessed by tonight's superb effort by the Bills, but, of course, last year when they won the AFC Eastern Division, came so close to going all the way. 28 seconds remaining. One more timeout for Miami. 41-14 Buffalo, and Strock is back on first down. Fires incomplete to Jimmy Cepolo. Stopping the clock with 24 seconds.
Well, we've had a lot of fun tonight because the score dictated it. But at the same time, Don, let's give credit where credit's due. A very great coach and a great man named Don Shula kept his dignity, and so did his team.
I couldn't agree more. And I really, Drew, you know, this is kind of a left-handed compliment, but I think, honestly, that the Dolphins have won a few games this year that maybe that they shouldn't have won. They do have a lot of young players, and Shula has done a good job, and dignity is a good word. This club has it, and so does Don Shula.
Well, they won the second half 7-0.
That's right.
Strock. Complete. Matt Moore inside the 5-yard line, and Strock will use the final timeout with 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Thank our spotter, Steve Bazika, our statistician, Jerry Klein, who's trying to keep his balls and strikes straightened out.
What'd you say? He's been with the baseball group for a while.
I remind you, this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Datsun, who invites you to see all the exciting new 1982 Datsun cars and trucks at your Datsun dealer today.
And we'll be in Dallas next Sunday. That's going to be fun. Do a Dallas-LA game on Sunday. We'll go to Detroit and get to Detroit and Chicago on Monday.
Dallas has worked themselves into a bit of a hole. They're 2 games behind Philadelphia now.
Yeah, but the day after that, because I won't be with you guys next weekend, the World Series begins on ABC. I don't know who's going to be in it. But Dan Daru, what? I'm going to miss you.
You're not going to be there Sunday or Monday?
No. Oh, no.
You got to be kidding. We got Francis coming in.
Yeah, I want you to be in Pontiac, Michigan.
All right. You got a deal.
15 seconds remaining in the game. The Bills have drawn to within a half a game of Miami in the AFC Eastern Division, and Miami will suffer its first defeat of the season. Strock. Touchdown, Miami.
I love it.
And
so do I.
In the record book, it will look awfully close.
Which was important to Shula and to that young team.
I agree completely.
Totally.
10 seconds remaining.
That's a very nice thing. These guys did play it right down to the last. They've been out of this game since really late in the second quarter. The game's been over. And they've come back in here, and Buffalo has not scored in the second half. They've come back, and they've played well.
Like 2 different ball games.
Yep.
Von Schaman.
Ulrich.
And I think the failure to go for the field goal just before the end of the first half was an even more important mistake than perhaps we emphasized, the way it turned out.
Well, that could be, but neither of us have really ever coached, so I don't know really how they look at that stuff, but when we were talking about it, we'd say, well, that puts them within 3 touchdowns. You know, they had a field goal they had to make up, too. I think they should have taken a shot at that field goal before the first half.
Don, I've had long talks with Landry.
Yeah?
The feeling is that you should have been a coach.
No, that's more than I can say. I never had long talks with Landry.
You had yes, sir, no, sir.
That's right.
Is there a better way?
I guess not.
Miami will kick it off. We have 10 seconds remaining. Buffalo is thinking onside kick. And who's to say?
We saw Minnesota miss an extra point, come back, and do an onside kick. And
was part of Terry LeCount's great day out there.
Unbelievable bounce. Holloway moves the ball ahead. LeCount, who is everywhere, and everything works for Bud Grant.
Perhaps that's talent. Don Sharman. And the ball is taken right at midfield. Covered there by Lyle Blackwood. 6 seconds. Clock stopped at the change of units on the field.
Good night, Frank.
Where are you going? It's not over yet.
No,
You and I are going right to the Buffalo airport, my friend.
Buffalo's got a good football team.
2 different halves completely. Buffalo dominating thoroughly in the first half with 31 points. Miami coming back.
I think
scoring 14.
We can expect to see Buffalo somehow in the playoff picture.
I would think.
Final play of the game, and Buffalo is drawn to within a half a game of the Miami Dolphins. For Don Shula, there will be another day, and there will be another go at Buffalo in the Orange Bowl. Once again, the final score, 31-21, Buffalo over Miami. Remember to stay tuned for ABC News Nightline 30 minutes after the game, 11:30 on the West Coast, over most of these ABC stations. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Half of football the Bills have played since he came here 8 1/3 seasons ago, and he is right on. The Bills were superb in that first half, left the Dolphins for dead. Only that 90-yard kickoff return marred a near-perfect performance. To Miami's credit, they didn't run for the bus in the second half, but by that time, of course, the damage had been done. Fergie had a great night. So did his offensive line and his receivers, and so did the defense with 4 interceptions. Well, let's check it out and see how Buffalo put the whammy on Miami. The Bills scored on their very first possession. Joe Ferguson found Jerry Butler over the middle. He took the ball to midfield. He caught 5 balls for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then Fergie to Mark Bramer. Fergie on target 20 of 29 times, 338 yards. That set up this Nick Mickemeyer 37-yard field goal, and the Bills were on their way, leading 3-0. Then pressure on Don Strock, and interception by linebacker Isaiah Robertson. He took it down to the 28-yard line, and white lightning again. On the next play, Ferguson finds Butler, and he streaks into the end zone. The Bills are leading 10-0 at this point. Then Frank Lewis, who caught 5 balls for 106 yards, hooked up with Ferguson, and this 29-yard pass took the ball into the 1-yard line. Lewis sliding down there. Then it was Rosie Leaks on second down, and Buffalo led 17-0. Then the only flaw in an otherwise near-perfect first half. Now watch Fulton Walker here, and some very sloppy arm tackling attempted by the Bills as he breaks out of it, stumbles there at the 44, and then is off to the races, convoyed to the end zone, a 90-yard run. Miami's only first half score, it is 17-7. But it didn't take the Bills long to get it back. 2 plays later, Ferguson to Joe Cribbs, 65 yards. It was 24-7. Cribbs caught 3 passes for 66 and ran for 60 more. Then another interception, 1 of 4 in the game by the alert Bills secondary. This time it was linebacker Shane Nelson who picked off the pass, and that set up still another score as Nelson takes it to the outside and is run out of bounds. The Bills moved it down to the 26-yard line, and from there it was Ferguson to Butler again. And look at this leaping catch wide open in the end zone, 31-7, and the Bills' work was done for the night. With 3 seconds left in the half, Miami went for the touchdown instead of the field goal, and Rod Cush foiled the play, and the Bills went into the locker room with that 31-7 lead. Now, to Miami's credit, they did not let up. In the second half, they scored twice. Joe Rose, the tight end, caught 5 passes and got a score here, but Buffalo won easily. Brian with the post-game report.
The Bills, a big winner, 31-21 over the Dolphins, and without a doubt, the star of this ball game, quarterback Joe Ferguson.
I was just extremely glad we won the ball game, and we won it the way we did, you know, and our defense played well, our offense played well, and if we can continue that, we're going to be successful.
From your standpoint, always some added incentive for Miami?
Always. I've been here longer than probably 3/4 or more of the team, and had a lot of bad games against the Dolphins, and very satisfying to beat them, you know, as many times as we can, because they've definitely got the upper hand on that. But you always put in a little bit more for the Dolphins.
Beautiful fans, good defense, good offense. The way we ought to play, we beat everybody.
Well, the Bills traded a draft choice to Seattle.
To a T, and then some.
Lots of people call themselves fans as long as the team's winning. And no doubt the Buffalo Bills have had their share of fair-weather boosters. But this guy, who runs a gas station just a few blocks away from Rich Stadium, has got to be one of the most serious, dedicated fans the Bills have ever had.
I've missed a game since 1960.
Not one?
Not one game did I miss.
Have you gone on the road with him?
I go to New York every year, and I went to Boston and Baltimore a few times.
Inside, Taylor's service station is brimming with carefully laid out mementos and collector's items from Bills games and players past and present. And the shelves that hold these treasures are lined with AstroTurf from Rich Stadium. This Bills fan also boasts a huge photo collection of practically every player who ever played for Buffalo. Taylor's been predicting the outcome of Bills games for years. Every week he posts his predictions in this front window. Taylor thinks the Bills could win the Super Bowl this year, barring any injuries.
Can't have any more after last night. Because if we do, we won't go to the Super Bowl this year, but next year for sure.
Taylor predicts a 9-7 season for the Bills, and he says the Bills will work over the Jets and win the game this Sunday. I asked him what was his darkest hour with the Bills during all the years he's followed them.
I don't think there was any darkest hours. I never get disgusted. And they go out and try their darndest. And as long as they do that, I'll never get disgusted. There's no dark hour.
Now that's a fan. Nona Barbie, Channel 7 Eyewitness News in Bills country.
Boy, it's nice to see an optimist like that, but there are a few kind of dark clouds.
Yeah, it was a great win last night, but the Bills' injury report has not been released yet. And 4 players had orthograms done on knee injuries. Tim Vogler, Reggie McKenzie, Lawrence McCutcheon, and Steve Freeman all have knee problems. There were others injured, too, in that game, but they are expected to be ready for the Jets game on Sunday. The Bills made a trade today, and that has to tell you something, even though that injury report hasn't been released. They acquired offensive lineman Tom Lynch from the Seattle Seahawks. He's 6'5", 260, and played out his option with Seattle. He was a starter with the club since drafted in 1977. He's a graduate of Boston College. The Bills' 31-21 win over the Dolphins was a spectacular one, and what a first half. An especially hard-hitting game. One hit blew off Ron Jesse's helmet. He held on to the ball, too. There were many stars in this game, no pun intended. That included Joe Cribbs, who describes a 65-yard touchdown.
They were in with cover 2, and the linebacker's not supposed to let me get inside. And he took a step outside, and I got underneath and got in the middle, and Fergie hit me with the pass. And from then on, you know, it's just instinctive running.
You've been caught a couple of times from behind in the past. There was no way you were going to get caught from behind on that play.
Well, I don't think I've been caught from behind, but, you know, a couple of times I've had to make a move on one guy who's in front of me and proceed to call up. But this time, you know, there was nobody I had to move on. I got in the lead, and then, you know, there's no way he was going to catch me.
He wasn't the only star. Joe Ferguson was 20 of 29 with 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them going to wide receiver Jerry Butler, who had 5 catches overall.
Well, it was a quick slant pattern. You know, it's about an 8 to 10 yard pattern where you're trying to hit it quick, and Joe trying to hit it right in between the seam, and he threw it right in there, and I turned it right upfield and right into the end zone, just like he would draw it up on the chalkboard. And that was good.
Full moon last night. That's right. There's some strange folks in the stands. Unfortunately, last night's big win over the Dolphins, as Rich said, was costly for the Bills. 4 players left the game with knee injuries, did not return. Guard Reggie McKenzie, who you see in the prone position here, told me after the game last night he hopes to be ready next week, but that is very iffy. He was injured along with Tim Vogler, his backup, strong safety Steve Freeman, fullback Lawrence McCutcheon, all went out with knee injuries. All 4 had knee arthrograms today. Results of the tests not yet known, but the Bills are obviously concerned because today they acquired guard Tom Lynch from Seattle for a future draft choice. Lynch, the Seahawks' second-round pick in '77, was sitting out this season with a contract dispute. Now, if the Bills sign and activate Lynch, somebody will probably have to go on injured reserve. Also injured last night were Mike Humiston and Ken Johnson. Both had hamstrings. Both should be okay. Now that the bad news is out of the way, let's look back at last night's 31-21 win over Miami.
Monday Night Football brought out a strange crowd to watch the Bills and Dolphins. Some would rather listen. Anyway, 80,000 Bills fans loved it.
Leading 3-0 on a Nick Mickemeyer field goal, Isaiah Robertson picked off a Don Strock pass, and the Bills were in business again. It took Joe Ferguson only one play to make it 10-0 with a 28-yard strike to Jerry Butler. Fergie would wind up passing for 338 yards, 20 of 29, no interceptions, and 3 touchdowns.
It's just exciting. You know, it's exciting for the fans. I think everybody enjoyed it, you know, and it's a kind of a rivalry. I think everybody realizes that, and we owe them a few more. You know, they still got their upper hand on us, you know, but it's enjoyable to win and for the team to play as good as they did.
I know personally it has to be great for you to come out with a 330-yard game on Monday night for Howard and the boys.
Well, I hope they enjoyed it. You know, I did.
While the Bills' defense kept Miami in check, here Ben Williams and Sherm White split a sack. The offense continued its assault in the second quarter. Ferguson to Frank Lewis for 29 yards. That set up Rosie Leaks for 6, and it was 17-0. Not for long. On the ensuing kickoff, Fulton Walker stunned the Bills, breaking half a dozen tackles on his way to a 90-yard touchdown. But Miami's joy was also short-lived. Ferguson and Joe Cribbs teamed up for a 65-yard touchdown just 2 plays later, and Old Mo sat on Buffalo's bench the rest of the way. It was 24-7.
We got the ball, and lucky enough, we called a play where they gave us cover 2, and we ran a play where I just went down the middle, and Fergie hit me, and from then on, I just bounced outside and outran the rest of the guys.
The Bills weren't through. Shane Nelson snared a Strock pass, which led straight to a perfect post route and throw between Ferguson and Butler, and it was 31-7 at the half.
The second one was kind of a clear type of post where if the Jill or the free safety, if he bites on the underneath coverage or whatnot, then if he reads it right, then it's going to leave that post pattern right open. He threw it right over in the corner of the end zone. It was, like I say, it was again just chalkboard perfect.
In the second half, Miami did get a touchdown from Tony Nathan. That was the first rushing TD given up by the Bills defense all year. But Charles Rome stopped another drive with his 3rd interception of the year. Broke it open with a 7-run 4th inning.
Well hit, down the line, fastball, extra bases. Randolph scores. Here comes Mumphrey. Milburn is held at 3rd. It's a double for Winfield. Yankees take the lead. Deep to left field, near the track, back is Henderson. Leaps and cannot make it. Home run for Piniella.
And Greg Nettles had a big day. 4 hits, including a 3-run shot in the 7th.
Deep to right field, way back. That's out of here. 3 more runs.
And the Yanks won it 13-3. Reggie Jackson sat out most of this one with a slight leg injury. He should be ready, though, for tomorrow night's game out in Oakland. The second game of the night on the NFL injury report today. Actually, it's not quite as bad as it sounds, although it is serious. So Reggie McKenzie was out there at practice today, but his hyperextended knee makes him very questionable. And there you see Reg, and you can see he's not moving very well. Newcomer Tom Lynch, number 61, made it in from Seattle in time for practice. We met some of the guys. Although the Bills won't comment on knee arthrograms of 4 players taken yesterday, Tim Vogler and Lawrence McCutcheon weren't on the field today. That is not a good sign. On the plus side, Curtis Brown is expected to be ready to start against the Jets. And strong safety Steve Freeman, who hurt the knee against Miami, also is okay.
Oh, yeah, everything's fine. Did the arthrogram yesterday, and all the pictures showed up. Everything was okay, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to go. I told Abe, you know, I could practice today, but he wanted me to let it rest today and try not to let it, you know.
3-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. And guess who's coming to dinner? Dave Winfield lets it go. Bases loaded double to left field, and that scores 2 runs, and it was a 5-3 game. Then hitting for Reggie Jackson, who left with a slight strain of the left calf muscle, but may play tomorrow. There's a worried Billy Martin looking on.